Good morning, everybody. Oh, wow. I didn't realize my camera was that dark. Let's brighten it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I hope everybody's doing good. It is Saturday. And, Saturday is a day that we just get into all the shenanigans, right? It's the weekend and we couldn't get rid of Friday. We tried. Yeah, we tried to get rid of Saturday, or we tried to get rid of Friday and just have Saturday, Sundays. But Brother Ganja, Fred Blogs returns. Well, he was complaining because he pretty much only works on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, and he'd never have a day off. So we kind of had to capitulate and let him keep Friday. Oh man, I'm telling you. The things I do in order to pacify and keep everybody happy. I don't know how I do it. I really don't. Yeah, a bunch of interesting stuff going on X this morning. Just a quick reminder. I posted it yesterday. Now, everybody knows, yes, I promote Lightning Springs Ranch. No, I do not get paid anything for that. I periodically will get an offer from them of some added beef and everything. And instead of taking it myself, I have them do a giveaway, which we are going to do after the week, during the week after Mother's Day. Okay. So we're going to have the Mother's Day weekend go, and then the webpage will be set up for the giveaway. And that will be done really. Oh, well, thank you very much, John. Okay, I can't complain about those kind of interruptions, because right now I can really use that. Trying to keep up on fuel is not an easy process right now. Okay, so so it's going to be the week, and the drawing is going to go on for a week. Okay, primarily because I want to make sure that everybody, and we have about 400, I think around 400 viewers altogether between all three platforms, between YouTube, X, and Facebook. And I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get signed up for it. I will have the link for that, and I will post it on to all three of you as soon as we have the link. But like I said, the sign up for that is not going to be until the day after Mother's Day. So and they're going to be giving away a whole health bundle again. And for those of you that don't know what a whole health bundle is, I will pull it up on the screen and show you. So it will give you an idea as to, I look at it like this, we all have a very large concern about the products that we're buying in the grocery stores right now. A lot of the meat just appears not to be real, appears to be kind of printed or something weird. It's just the texture is weird, the taste is weird. I've had people tell me they've gone and bought some hamburger and it just does not taste like hamburger anymore, and so people are concerned. And I found these guys, they were recommended to me last year you know, because I was concerned about my local store and the stuff that I was getting from them. Um, and you know, basically, what Lightning Springs did for me was they gave me a little bit of a discount, which was cool. And I ended up getting a health bundle, and I'll show you what that is. Let's see, whole health bundle here, and basically it's all of this meat here, and that's the price tag for it. And you know, basically it was let's see, so this bundle is 15 pounds of grass-fed beef. It includes 5 pounds of top-notch steaks, 5 pounds of our savory roast, 5 pounds of our juicy ground beef. And after getting it and eating it, I was like, wow, this is actually really good meat. I hadn't had grass-fed meat in quite a long time. And quite a few of you that those of you that have bought from them, you know, you can give your testimony as well as to how good the meat is. And then immediately after I made the purchase, they turned around and they offered to do a giveaway. And we gave away one of these packets. And one of our viewers went home with it. And they're going to do it again. And I think that that's just great. It's, you know, giving back to the communities that are helping keep their family ranch going. I don't get any benefit from it. I don't take a pay for it or anything like that. I do promote them, and there is a code that if you go and you place an order from them, and you put in my name, Hawk, you will get a you'll get a discount on whatever you're purchasing. So yeah, so we're going to be doing that. Fred, unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate you in this because of the fact that you're overseas, and I don't think that they can ship meat overseas, and I believe that that excludes Canada for now as well, because of the shipping laws and things like that, sending them into other countries. But it is, everybody in America will be able to sign up for it without a problem. All right, let me kill my cam, get this mini cam turned off. Here we go. So we got full capability for our videos. Proud Army Bat, proud. Let's try that one again. Proud Army Brat says, University of Chicago, you see my face. Show me your face. Take it off. The Palestinian freaks are weak cowards. And in a way, they're kind of right, because there is no pan to the dem to the ick going on. So there's absolutely no reason to have masks on. And if you're gonna protest for something, have the balls to stand up and do it for posterity, and show your face. You know, be proud of what you're standing up for. But you know, the people that are protesting like that, they just don't. So I thought that this was pretty cool. University of Chicago.
What? Show your face! Show your fucking face, pussy! Show your fucking face! You see my face? Show me your face! Show me your face! Take it off! Show your face! I know you can show your face!
And they're right. Yeah, if you're not proud enough to stand by your convictions, then why? You know, this is another angle of it here.
Western Revolution, you're not going anywhere. Hey, let's give it a drop. Western Revolution, you're not going anywhere. Hey, let's give it a drop.
Yeah, going on everywhere. You know, all different kinds of cameras and everything else. Again, I want to share this, and I know I played it the other day. You guys know how I've been standing up for children that have been trafficked and and these situations. Cat Turd reposted this. Fuck around, find out. Trump girl says this man is here to meet a 13-year-old boy. And the thing is guys like this need to be made famous. People in their communities need to know that this kind of stuff is going on.
This man's here to meet a 13-year-old boy. This man right here is here to meet a 13-year-old boy off the app Grindr. Excuse me, everybody. This man is a pedophile in Auburn Hills, Michigan. He's here to meet a 13-year-old boy. He is a pedophile in your city. Excuse me, everyone. This man is a pedophile. He came here to meet a 13-year-old boy off the app Grindr. Excuse me, everyone. This man is a pedophile. He came to meet a 13-year-old boy off the app Grindr. This man.
So when we hear the saying they won't be able to walk down the streets, this is, I believe, should be part of, they should not be able to walk down the streets. And exactly, shame the beast. Good comment there, put out by Mr. Fred. Brother Ganja, I love you, man. I miss hanging out with you all the time, because we used to have some great conversations, and we need to hang out more often. All right. Tony TM says America is sick and tired of Joe Biden. Language warning. If y'all vote this, well, I'll just let her say it. Get ready. There's a little bit of vulgarity in here. Just a little itty bitty. Okay, there's a lot. Here we go.
I am so fucking sick of this turkey neck bastard. I'm sick of them. And the fact that we got to deal with this bitch until January is fucking insane. If y'all vote this motherfucker back in, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose my fucking shit. Because we already fucked up. If you vote him back in, we are fucking done for. He is fucking destroying us. Do not get in my comments talking about something you voted for him. I didn't vote for that bitch. I don't like that fucking man. I did not vote for his ass. He needs to go to a fucking nursing home or something. He don't need to be in the fucking White House. He do not need to be in the White House. He is fucking killing us. Like, we are barely fucking surviving, and you want to take away another means that's helping us. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to live here anymore. This is fucking ghetto. This is ghetto. I don't know why people want to come over here talking about I want to live the American dream. It's not a dream, baby. It's a motherfucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. I'm done. I don't even want to live on the planet Earth anymore. Beam me up somewhere. Mars, Uranus, I don't give a fuck. Get me out of here. If y'all vote that man back in, get me out of here.
You can't blame her. And she was kind of not as vulgar as I believed that she was going to be, but she's right. She's right. Okay. All right. So people of the world, stop listening to the Democrats and the media's race baiting. And here's exactly why. I thought that this was I thought that this was well constructed, and this man is extremely well articulated. So, and he gets right to the point too. So, he's reply to Switchboard's comment. You live in Aledo. My wife grew up in Weatherford, and I believe that that's in Texas. I think you guys can tell me that live in Texas. But let's go ahead and take a listen to what this young man's got to say.
You live in Aledo, yes, and it is the whitest part of Texas. It's 90% white people, and then the rest of them is still white people. There's like 2% of any other color here, and we have experienced zero racism since we've been here. So we used to live in Carrollton, Georgia, and they had a phenomenal school system, phenomenal athletics, phenomenal cheerleading. And so when we got the opportunity to move to Fort Worth, Texas, we asked what had the best schools close to Fort Worth, Texas. And we were told you need to either go to Keller or you need to go to Aledo. Well, we went to Keller, and Keller was way too fucking busy. It was way too many people, and it was way too loud. So then we came out here to Aledo, and we fell in love with the house. We fell in love with the small town-ish feel. We fell in love with the football well before we realized that there is zero fucking black people here. Okay, so I'm not going to say zero because I'm here and like 5 other families are here. But what I'm saying is that I have never felt any type of way going to the Alito diner, like literally spending time at the football games, it's sports. Like I say, when I go walking in this neighborhood, man, I'm a sweater. I literally have people stop. Hey, you look tired. You need some water? Like literally stopping me on my walk or talk about my labs. Oh my God, your lab is so beautiful. Like just my daughter. Oh my God, your daughter is so beautiful. Like people stop us on a day-to-day basis around here being completely wonderful. So I don't know what a racism is.
I love that. I love that. It's just a man telling his actual experience, not falling into the narrative and everything else. It's consistently pushed on everybody. It's great. WHO chief scientist says cows are the main issue in new bird flu virus spreading. We know exactly what they're planning. They want to start ordering ranchers to cull millions of cattle so real meat prices skyrocket and nobody except Davos can afford the meat. Here we go.
The current outbreak, for want of a better word, in America amongst cows is really concerning as well, and also talks to this issue of transmission. We have to understand in those cow settings, sheds, how H5N1 is transmitting, because it may be evolving into transmitting in different ways. Do the milking structures of cows create aerosols? Is it the environment which they're living in? Is it the transport system that is spreading this around the country? So this is a huge concern, and I think we have to watch, more than watch, we have to make sure that if H5N1 did come across to humans with human-to-human transmission, that we were in a position to immediately respond with access equitably to vaccines, therapy.
Yeah. So they're making their moves. And it's going to, I hate to say it, but when Americans make their move, I don't think it's going to go well for these guys. I really don't. Yeah. Niche Girl says, detune fear and judgment. I don't know if I agree with everything this guy says, but he's got a couple of good points in here.
Here's how not to be polarized. The law of polarity is useful. It creates a drag on our vibration and draws it down. This creates discontent and ultimately all of our life's challenges. While we need challenges to expand our consciousness, which is the purpose of physical life, a lower vibration will always result in more challenges in life. Think of the most negative people you know, and think about how their lives are typically going. Now think about the happiest, most confident people you know. Their lives are certainly not perfect, because no one's is, but their lives are probably going better than the folks who are always complaining. The lower our general vibration, the more impacted we are by polarity. We find this lower vibration territory confusing. It causes anxiety. So we pick a side on a topic that confirms our beliefs, and we choose that side because confirmation of our beliefs feels good. So it brings relief to our low vibe state of being, albeit temporarily, because we find ourselves then constantly having to argue for our side, defending our chosen beliefs, and it's exhausting. So what's the opposite of this low vibe existence? The top of our vibrational spiral. It's source perspective. The energy of all creation. Source is never polarized. And in that state of consciousness, we have zero obstacles. We fear nothing and judge nothing. And it feels amazing. But we can't stay there indefinitely. If we wanted to just be that, we would have never chosen to manifest as physical beings. And yes, we chose this. We created this. like we create everything else. Coming to a physical experience that is guaranteed to create varying degrees of separation from source. And with the flow up and down our vibrational landscape, we create a physical experience of wanted things that keep us going another day and challenges, the things that actually expands our being by expanding our consciousness in the having of the experience and absolutely in the solving of them. Think of the things that you've encountered that sucked while you were experiencing them, but you later realized made you a stronger version of yourself. We all have some, and they can all be this. What doesn't end you makes you stronger. This is what life is actually about. Not having the perfect body or tons of money or a new $5,000 handbag. All those things are fine, but we've created this matrix of bullshit that tells us the expansion we innately seek can only be found in consumerism, or the perfect relationship with our twin flame, or having the hottest body, or being on the winning side of a polarized argument, especially regarding our current institutions of control, religion and politics. How long have we been slaughtering one another over that bullshit? The way out of the matrix of bullshit is to detune your ego. You can't eradicate it, not as long as you're alive in your physical vehicle, but you can calm it down, detune fear, detune judgment. None of us are getting out of this alive. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience, but we're not here to lower our vibration, believing we must end the suffering of others by harshly judging it. That's also, you guessed it, your ego. There is plenty of evidence that our planet is self-healing and self-sustaining, and we can all be part of that energy. But it won't be found in the lower vibration of fear and judgment. Nothing is solved in taking sides or going to war. Not really, because even the winning side will pay for their victory. Because all energy broadcasted out is returned to the originator every time. So the way out of polarization is appreciation of things without judgment. And you achieve that by deeper understanding, such deep understanding that you no longer fear or judge or need to take sides. That's how you solve polarity.
Okay. Whatever you say. Ultra MAGA Party says 1975 Deep State questioned about CIA, FBI, DNI, and NSA spying on American citizens and worse. Fast forward to 2024. The House reauthorizes FISA. All you need to know about Mike Johnson and company. Here we go.
Mail. You were referring to opening the mail, were you not?
Yes.
And that was against the law, was it not?
Yes.
You were recommending that the president in this case authorize mail openings even though such action was contrary to the federal statute.
Yes, sir.
And you have suggested that there might be some inherent right that circumvents the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, guaranteeing citizens against unreasonable searches and seizures. Without a warrant, you reply, I didn't know about the CIA mail openings. These people were conducting all of these things on their own that the President of the United States didn't know about. Do you still stand by that testimony?
I thought we had a serious crisis in this country. My attitude was that we've got to do something about it. Who knows what to do about it? Professional intelligence community. The professional intelligence community tells me that you give us these tools, we can solve the problem. I recommended those tools.
What legal justification has a public officer sworn to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the land to entertain and recommend illegal acts by the government?
It seems to me that many of these agencies just kind of operated in their own world and had their own programs going. They didn't want anyone else to know it, and the thing that intrigues me is that I always was under the illusion that the purpose of intelligence was to provide policymakers with information upon which to make policies. But if the policymaker doesn't even know that those sources of information are available, I don't know what in the world good it does anybody, except the people who are operating it for their own gratification.
You had a representative from the NSA, one from the CIA, one from the DIA, and one from the FBI. Which of them objected to these recommendations which involved illegal acts?
At the working group level, I don't recall any objection.
Do you recall any of them ever saying, we can't do this because it's illegal?
No.
Can you recall any discussion whatsoever concerning the illegality of these recommendations?
No.
Does that strike you as peculiar that top public officers in the most high-level and sensitive positions of government would discuss recommending to the president actions which are clearly illegal and possibly unconstitutional without ever asking themselves whether that was a proper thing for them to be doing?
Yes, I think it is, except for the fact that I think for many of those people, you were talking about something that they've been aware of, has been undertaken for a long period of time.
Well, is that an adequate justice?
I'm not trying to justify, I'm just trying to tell you what my impression is of what happened.
Because if criminals could be excused on the grounds that someone had done it before, there wouldn't be much population in the prisons today, would there?
Yeah. It's still going on today. And there were a couple of people who were dismissed from service during that period of time. But other than that, no, there were absolutely no repercussions to that. All right, the Daily Wire. And I don't really care for the Daily Wire too much because I think Ben Shapiro is a piece of crap. I think he's paid opposition. But honestly, I kind of think that this guy right here in this video, I believe, is also paid opposition because of the way that he's talking instead of calmly trying to make his point to move forward. He's antagonizing both the protesters, and he's also antagonizing the police instead of trying to have a constructive dialogue. He's just as venomous as the protesters are. So, but we're gonna watch it. It's just so everybody knows, anti-Israel protester at MIT. Respectfully, we do not trust your intentions. Jewish students, respectfully, fuck off. Watch a Jewish student fight to enter MIT's anti-Israel encampment. Police eventually agree to give him an escort. There we go.
You cannot tell a Jew where he can or can't walk in the United States. So move. No, respectfully, off. You cannot tell. You cannot. I don't care. You are not the police. You cannot tell a Jew in 2024 where he can go. Why are you telling me to back off? These are thugs who are telling Jews where they can or can't walk. No, we can't. We could do it in the middle over there. You cannot tell me in the United States in 2024 where. Shut up. You cannot tell me where I can or can't walk. These are terrorist supporters. And they are supporting Hamas. What is worse, me saying the F word or them praising Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis? I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm a law-abiding citizen. These people support terrorists. Why are you punishing me?
Can we get some space, please? Can we just...
Okay, I'm not going to raise my voice. Okay, I'm not raising my voice. Excuse me. Excuse me. You're letting them do this? You're letting them do this? Are you letting them do this? Are you kidding me? You are telling a Jew where he can't. Why can't I walk through? Why can't I tell them? Okay, I'll talk calmly. Please tell the Hamas-supporting terrorists that I'm allowed to walk through. Are you going to give me an opportunity? What? Are you going to give me an opportunity? Go ahead.
So I can't stop you from going.
Okay.
I cannot. And I'm not going to try.
Okay.
But I don't understand what the purpose would be, because I think you know where we're going to out. And do we want that?
Respectfully, I am not the problem. If there's violence, wait, let me finish. I am practicing my First Amendment rights. Please let me finish. I respect you. If I walk through and there's violence, it's not because of me. I will walk with my hands up the entire time waving an American flag. If there's violence, it's because they put their hands on me, and they should be punished, not a Jew wearing a kippah with an American flag. Please, I'm asking you, as an officer of the law who I respect, allow me to exercise my First Amendment right. And other Jewish students should walk in with me.
Excuse me, I'd like to go inside. What's there to discuss? They're breaking the law. Allow me to walk inside. All right, you and I, right?
Oh, so they've allowed one.
Wait, I'm allowing you. I'm not talking to you. Don't talk to me. Am I allowed to walk inside? Let's go.
I will never be intimidated by anti-Semitic. All right. Okay. This is the state of being Jewish in the United States. We need police protection to exercise our First Amendment rights. And all of these so-called protesters should be ashamed of themselves. We will not be intimidated. We will not be scared. It is absurd that I need police protection to do this. Let's walk inside.
Shabbos.
What's the story down there at the encampment? Any call down there or what? What's going on?
All set right now.
All right, we got full stage right there.
Excuse me, I'd like to go inside. I'd like to go inside. What's there to discuss? They're breaking the law. Allow me to walk inside.
All right, you and I, right?
Oh, so they've allowed one Jew.
Wait, I'm allowing one.
I'm not talking to you. Don't talk to me. Am I allowed to walk inside? Let's go.
You're gonna let me know.
I will never be intimidated by anti-Semitic thugs.
Okay.
Gentlemen, there we need to check out.
All right, just wait one second.
This is the state of being Jewish in the United States. We need police protection to exercise our First Amendment rights. And all of these so-called protesters should be ashamed of themselves. We will not be intimidated. We will not be scared. It is absurd that I need police protection to do this.
Come on, let's
walk inside.
I'm gonna ask you to kind of treat me with a little bit of. Can you treat me with a little bit of dignity?
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Chief, want me to go with you? Chief, excuse me. You want me to go with you? Tony, I'd rather you stand. You stand up. You guys, I'm gonna come. Yeah, please let me come through. All right, just let me come through. Come on.
But you should all be ashamed of yourselves. Absolutely pathetic.
Stop.
I'm allowed to talk. I'm allowed to talk.
You're provoking. You're provoking.
Am I the one illegally occupying campus property?
Okay.
Folks, if you need to cover up your face, now is the time to cover up your face. If you need to cover up, now is the time to cover up, please.
I'm Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing it. I'm not angry at you. No, I just everybody. I just want to see.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Cover your face, guys. Please, if you need to cover up your face, cover up now. Cover your face, guys.
I'm going to speak for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to leave. Okay? I'm going to speak for 10 seconds. I want to do it right here, and then I will go. I'll do it right here, and then I'll go. I want to let all of you know you are not going to intimidate Jewish people. You can hide behind your masks as long as you want. We will not be scared, okay? Well, so speak to the people outside who've experienced anti-Semitism directly. All of you should be ashamed of yourselves, and we will not be silent. And we will not be silenced. This is the state of being Jewish in America. I need police protection to exercise my First Amendment rights. Really brave of you guys.
Now, my God, you are exercising your American rights. I don't know what you're talking about.
And the thing was even after he got in there, he was still disrespectful to the officer who went out of his way. Okay, that commander, okay, the 4-star, okay, I believe probably the chief of police for that community, okay, went out of his way to walk him through there, okay, and instead of trying to find a way to make some peace, he instead continues to try to incite a reaction. Okay. And then, and then they cry human rights violations, and everything else. So there's a certain point where we have to look at this and we have to understand that I would say 99.9% of this is 100% staged. 1% of it is intentional. Okay. And the ones with intent are like the Weather Underground people who got released from prison back during the Obama era and have been going to both Antifa, BLM, and all the other organizations, and basically teaching them this script of anger and fighting back and everything else. And it's funny that the dissident mentality, okay, is really showing itself very clearly in comparison to what we saw in 2017, 2016, 2017, those riots, and then the riots of 2020. But the riots of 2024, we're beginning, we have clear vision, because we've seen it, we've seen the playbook. So we understand and we see this. All right. I mean, therefore I am says, I love it. Fire, fire, fire. This is actually pretty cool. I like this.
Yo, you heard that new song in the summer?
Yeah, it's a vibe, but I like songs that praise the Lord.
Hey, what about this? Look.
1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them sing another one, cause we gon' praise the Lord. Church stepping on the altar, we don't need a dance floor. Oh my good Lord. Someone shouted out that Jesus Christ is holy. I won't depart from them, cause my God really know me. And I'ma testify and I'ma do it boldly. Cause everybody gonna know my God is holy. Hey. Everybody gonna know my God is holy. Everybody gotta know my God is holy.
There's a couple of brothers for you right there.
Yo, you heard that new?
Yeah. So I had a conversation with you guys about a week ago, telling you I had an opportunity to meet this guy right here, Mr. Hal Linden, who played Barney Miller. And we actually had, while we were backstage, he was playing Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha. He was at the Wang Theater in Boston, Massachusetts. My very, very dear friend who passed away just a couple of years ago, Samuel Rennie, played Sancho, his sidekick. Sam, an incredible singer. He performed at regularly as well. He worked as a waiter, but he also performed at both Valentino's in New Jersey and Mama Leone's in New York City. And I used to, anytime I was back in the area, I used to always go and pay him a visit. We get together maybe two times a year, 3 times a year. And be able to share what was going on in our worlds and everything else. But this interaction that I had with Hal Linden was particularly interesting. Very, very down to earth guy. And Hal stated during our conversation, now it wasn't an interview. This was just a conversation between a fan and an actor. Okay. Very down to earth, a very, very respectful man. Didn't matter whether you were rich or poor, black or white or anything else, because there were multiple colors in our group that were there to see the play. And I actually got to see 2 shows. One I saw from the front row, opposite of the orchestra box. And the second one, I got to be backstage and watch how the backstage worked, and everything. And in between performances, we got together again and we continued our conversations. And he told me that this was the most difficult performance that he ever had playing Barney Miller because he knew that everything that this man is going to say in this was 100% accurate and was going to come true. Okay. And to see this, and I believe his name is Jeffrey Tambor, who is the bald guy there in the middle. And everything that he said, and Hal said, it was very, very difficult. It affected him both mentally and emotionally for months after shooting this scene. Okay, here we go.
I just wanted to meet them face to face. I wanted them to admit what they were doing.
Who is they? He was in the office of the Trilateral Commission. Trilateral Commission? Yeah, the Trilateral Commission. All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller to bring together business and political leaders from the United States, Europe, Japan, so they could work together for better economic and political cooperation between their nations.
And that's what they'd like us to believe. But you see, what they're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country.
Okay. First major point right there. 100% accurate. Let's continue.
To work to erase national boundaries.
Second, identifiable point. Second identifiable point.
Create an international community and, in time, bring about a one world government with.
Okay. Are we not seeing this?
David Rockefeller calling the shots.
I take it they're pressing charges?
Yeah, well, he broke a globe and some UNICEF artwork.
Well, they're in on it too.
Okay, Mr. Klein, if you just...
Okay, so UNICEF. What has UNICEF been accused of now? UNICEF is now accused of being involved in what? Human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, money laundering.
I'm telling you, our whole way of life as we know it is in jeopardy.
And he was 100% accurate.
Appreciate that information.
But I have the documented evidence. It's all in there. Show him.
Well, he's got these magazines here.
Conspiracy Review? Suppressed Truth Roundup?
Okay, so during this period of time was during the major push, okay, the major pushback from the Central Intelligence Agency, the FBI, and the White House in regards to conspiracy theories surrounding what? The assassination of John F. Kennedy.
The whole master plan is exposed.
Yeah, well,
You're still not convinced, huh? would you like to hear the names of just a few of the people who have been on the Trilateral Commission?
Okay, now pay attention. Pay attention to these names. Here we go.
Particularly.
James Earl Carter. Heard of him?
Look, Mr. Klein.
Henry Kissinger. You heard of him? Walter Mondale.
Who? Mr. Klein, this is
John Anderson, George Bush. Now, you remember at...
What? Did he just say George Bush? Henry Kissinger?
At the convention, everybody thought it was going to be Ford for Veep. You know what happened? David Rockefeller just picked up a phone, put in a call. Hey, Ronnie, forget Jerry, it's George. Bye. So, no matter who won in November, they had their man in the White House.
Yep.
Are you through?
He understood. Now, looking at his facial expression, okay, and this is the thing, you know, actors are actors, okay, but look at the disappointment on his face when he realizes, okay, these guys just think I'm crazy. Okay, it's a, you know, how do we feel today, knowing how people look at us when we talk about these things and are able to prove it, and still people don't want to believe. You know, they just don't want to get it, you know. And I think that this right here is a very valid point that, you know, it's completely understandable for people to go through a disassociation because of people not wanting to, you know, do any further research for themselves to find out if what we're saying is 100% truth. They just want us to lay a whole bunch of proof on them, but then even when we lay proof on them, okay, they still discount it. You know, that's why Q said we have to show. Sometimes you have to show the people. Okay, well, guess what, guys? We are seeing every bit of what he said. Okay, and I believe that this was filmed in 79 or 80, maybe even as close to 81. You know, they were coming up. We were coming up on the end of the big collar, multicolor, you know, shirts back then, you know, because the 70s, you know, was very classically dressed. Oh my God, I remember the clothes that my parents made me wear. Oh, the pants I had to wear. Oh yeah. Yeah. Since then, I've never wore plaid. You know, well, I shouldn't say that because I do wear, you know, some flannel shirts that kind of have that. But, you know, but it's the idea of looking at this and understanding that they told us what was going to happen back then. And people weren't watching. People were watching, but they weren't believing it, you know. Now, for some people, this was actually an awakening, and then all of a sudden Bill Cooper came into the scene, okay, and was confirming a very, very large number of the things, especially that this guy stated in this video. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But we'll see. Yeah, bell bottom. Shut up, Tim. Oh, my Lord. Okay. All right. Kevin, We the People says, I have an honest question for you guys. If we only explored about 5% of our oceans, then why would we be trying to go to space? If we haven't explored 95% of your own house, would you really try to explore another house first? Then you have Antarctica. Treaty, then you have Antarctic Treaty, and the North Pole maps they erased. I think we should be focusing on completely exploring our own planet first before we try to go anywhere else. And I have to agree. Here we go, though.
Leans forward in amazement. His eyes have caught a sudden and unbelievable change in scenery. The universal white has turned to chocolate brown, dotted with blue. A cameraman goes into action. 300 square miles of land without snow. Land that might be in New Mexico or Arizona. Pictures alone will prove Bunger has discovered a warm oasis in the shadow of the pole. It is for such supreme moments as this that men brave the hardships of exploration. The astounding, undreamed of fact is that they are over a chain of warm water lakes, whose shores, except for small patches, are free of ice and snow. Commander Bunger circles the largest lake in sight, 5 miles long. He comes in to make a landing. Water temperatures must be recorded. Samples taken. He finds the water fresh, the temperature 38 degrees Fahrenheit. On the shores are vast deposits of coal and of minerals of the utmost importance to civilization. Aside from their headline discovery, Bunger and his men have another good reason.
That's one of them. Let's look at the other one.
Is Antarctica, the mysterious massive continent at our southern pole that nobody is allowed to explore. After sailing over 60,000 miles along the Antarctic coastline, Captain Cook was never able to complete the journey around the ice continent, which is supposed to be just under 12,000 miles around. Neither was James Clark Ross or the British ship Challenger. Nobody has ever successfully circumnavigated Antarctica. Many so-called flat earthers claim that these attempts failed because Antarctica is actually a massive ice barrier that surrounds the flat surface of the Earth. The azimuthal equidistant projection map, produced by the U.S. Geological Survey, has been used for centuries for the fact that all directions or azimuths are correct and all distances are at true scale. Studying this map, one can clearly see how man has been able to accurately circumnavigate the Earth on a flat plane model. And if it is in fact accurate, then it explains why after 60,000 miles, nobody has been able to completely circumnavigate Antarctica. Interestingly, this is also the map used by the United Nations. Admiral Richard Byrd, Medal of Honor winner, youngest admiral in the history of the Navy, and recipient of 3 ticker tape parades in his honor, led 4 expeditions to Antarctica. The 4th being a military operation known as Operation High Jump, with an aircraft carrier group, 4,700 men, 13 support ships, and 33 aircraft. Their stated mission was to establish the Antarctic Research Base Little America 4, but many believe the true nature of the secret mission was to root out the Nazis who arrived in 1939, claiming New Swabia and setting up a Nazi presence in Antarctica. In 1954, Admiral Richard Byrd spoke on TV of an area bigger than the United States with valuable resources and announced a future of international exploration.
Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. We've found enough coal within 180 miles of the South Pole in a great ridge of mountains that's not covered with snow, enough to supply the whole world for quite a while. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do. So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year, at the bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
But this never happened. In 1957, Admiral Byrd died in his sleep of a heart ailment at the age of 68. And on December 1st, 1959, all 12 countries active in Antarctica signed a United Nations treaty that outlawed all public travel south of the 60th southern parallel.
So, speaking on that, speaking of the 1960s and 1950s, I heard some shit last night that pissed me off. Somebody on another podcast made the comment that the UN gave Palestine gave land to the Palestinians, and I'm going to call 100% bullshit on that, and because we have ourselves taken and pulled up the oldest recorded map. Actually, we're gonna actually type this in: oldest map of Palestine. Okay, oldest map of Palestine, and the history of ancient Palestine is where we're going to go. And this is the 3rd millennial BC. Okay. And this is, let's see, where's the map? It should be right here. Did I click the wrong one? I think I did. Here we go. I think this is the one. I think this is the one. Okay. So, wow. This might be it. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. And basically, when they talk about kingdoms, kingdoms are states. So this is all Palestine here. Okay. There was a kingdom of Israel. There was a kingdom of Judah. Okay. Kingdom of Israel was where three of the brothers of the 12 sons of Israel started their cities. You had Samaris, you had Shechem, Jaffa, Jerash, Beit El, and Jericho. Okay. And below it, you see the kingdom of Judah, Jerusalem, Lachish, Hebron, and Beersheba. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Browse the old maps. I don't need you to tell me how it works. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see here. There's one in particular one that I'm looking for. Maps. And you notice they're maps of Palestine. Okay. It says maps of Palestine. The UN did not give Palestine to the Palestinians. The fucking UN wasn't even around then. This is where misinformation and disinformation comes in. And it really fucking gets my ire when people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The UN went into Palestine and forced the Palestinians to give the Jews a place or to create a state of Israel. That's what the UN did. So what I'm going to say to the individual who was running his pie hole last night, stating that the UN gave Palestine to the Palestinians, know what the fuck you're talking about before, before you run your mouth, okay? Because that is totally wrong, okay? And you mislead people, and you led a conversation that had absolutely no prevalence. No, get away from that. Get away. Hang on, guys. Bear with me. Get away from that. Be right with you. Hang on. Oh, mamas, they want to clean up after the puppies, but when one of them's got a little bit of diarrhea, no, they don't need to be going and cleaning that up. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find this one just to give everybody a real clear view of this. Let's see. I know it's here somewhere. Is this it? This might be it. Okay. So this is Palestine as Holy Land. And this is from, give me a second. I got to get my glasses on because it's a little bit blurry. Okay. So this is, no, this isn't, well, this is definitely, okay. Because one thing that people need to know is that Jesus was not a Jew. He was a Palestinian. Yeah. Blow your mind, right? Yeah. So in 1873, here we go. Here's one from 1873, a map of Palestine. Map of Palestine. Let's see here. Is this the other one? This might be it here. The land of strife. Yep. So you had Syria was part of it. Samaria was part of it. Transjordan. Okay. Palestine is here, all through here. Okay. Pretty big fucking country, right? And guess what's in the middle of Palestine is this here. And it's right on the Jordan River. Okay. But there's a very detailed one that I want to pull up. Okay, so Galilee, Nazareth, okay, Capernaum. These are all in the Bible, all of them. Raman, Canaan, okay. Okay, there's the lower Phoenician, and there's the upper Phoenician over here. Okay, there's the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, this was all Palestine. It was all Palestine. Okay, it was all Palestine. Here's Samaria. Here's Galatris. Okay, Monitis, and even more. Okay. So don't go on to somebody's fucking podcast saying about how the UN gave Palestine to the Palestinians when in fact the UN gave fucking the state of Israel that through the Balfour Agreement was signed first. Okay. Given by what? The British Empire. Okay. Pisses me off when people talk and they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about or haven't taken the time to fucking research it. Okay. And I actually left. I stopped watching the podcast last night because of that. That's how much it pissed me off. I was like, I couldn't even sit there and chat. I called BS as soon as the statement was made. Okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? I call bullshit. Oops, this is going to start. Oh, we're going to get to that one in a little bit. I call bullshit because of the fact that, it was, Palestine under the Persians. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, John Dunning. Thank you. Yeah. Keep dropping those links. Please do. Please do. Absolutely. Okay. And it's, and this is the thing is if you're not willing to do the research, you should not be having a conversation about it. Okay. We did the research. Remember, you guys, I would say there was a good 100 of you, maybe 120 of you in chat and watching while we went through old maps a couple of months ago. Okay. In regards to Palestine. Okay. And we talked about the Balfour Agreement. We talked about what the UN did in order to secure a state for Israel. Okay. And then to hear that last night, I was so taken back. It's like I said, I made a comment. I called BS and I said it right there in chat. I said, I call BS. I said, Palestine. I have a Bible here from 1630, okay, that has a map of Palestine in it. Okay, that's a 500-year-old fucking Bible that has a map of Palestine in it. Does it have a map of Israel? No, it has a map of Palestine. Thank you, Mary Luck. I did the research. You're right. You know, and now I can't argue with the fact that the conflict between Hamas, okay, the Palestinians and Israel and the Houthis, okay, have different narratives about them. But the fact of the matter is that the Hamas was established by both the Israeli state, okay, and the American CIA and intelligence community and the Mossad. That's how Hamas came about. Okay. Now, I'm going to be playing a couple of videos throughout the day today in regards to, so there's the son of the Hamas leader that is belittling a bunch of people who are standing up for Palestine, and he's saying that everybody is now Hamas. Well, of course you're going to say that, because the Hamas party is who's in charge of the country. The people of Palestine never got to vote on that. They never got to vote on that. That was established through those other organizations. Basically, they've gone in and they've stolen land, and they're continuing to steal land. I played a video just a couple of days ago about a young Jew who traveled into Palestine telling farmers that they had this land is going to be mine. This is going to be my land. You get the fuck out, is what he was telling them. And that's exactly the language that he was using. You know? And the thing is that the Israelites were kicked out of the whole. Get out of there right now. Get out of there. Get out of there right. Get out of there right now. Okay, sorry. The Israelites turned their back on our Creator, and he took the land back from them. He banished them forever. Because why? Because they were praising and worshiping Moloch and sacrificing children to Moloch. They were kicked out. They were proven unworthy. They were no longer the chosen people. And it even talks about it in the Bible. All you got to do is look for it and read it. Matter of fact, oh, 1 Kings 9:7, I will cut off Israel from the land that I promised them, that I have given them, and will reject the temple I have consecrated for my name. Israel then become a byword and an object of ridicule among all peoples. Why did this happen? Because, if indeed you or your sons turn away from following me and do not keep the commandments and statutes I have set before you, and if you go off to serve and worship other gods, then I will cut off Israel from the land that I have given them. I will banish them from my presence. This temple I have sanctified for my name then Israel will become an object of scorn and ridicule among all peoples. And when this temple has become a heap of rubble, all who pass by it will be appalled and will hiss and say, why has the Lord done such a thing to this land and to this temple? Matthew 23:38. Look at your house is left to you desolate. Do not defile yourselves by any of these practices, for by all these things the nations I am driving out before you have defiled themselves. I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you this day, that you will quickly perish from this land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You will not live upon it, but will be utterly destroyed. You will become an object of horror, scorn, and ridicule among all nations to which the Lord will drive you. I regret that I have made Saul king, for me. He has turned away from me, or from following me, and has not carried out my instructions. And Samuel was distressed and cried out to the Lord all that night. Finally, the Lord removed Israel from his presence, and as he had declared through all his servants, the prophets, so Israel was exiled from their homeland into Assyria, where they are to this day. It's all right there. All of it right there. So simple. So simple. So easy to research and find the answers. So it pisses me off when I hear people going on to podcasts saying about this, and that, about how the Palestinians are stealing Israel from, or stealing the country from Israelites, when in all actuality, they're not Israelites. They still, to this day, worship and sacrifice children to Moloch. And until people come to that realization, everyone suffers. All right. Japan and India are pissed at Sleepy Joe, says Carly Boone. Let's take a listen.
Another Biden special, and no, I do not mean policy, I mean goof up. It's campaign season in the United States of America, so we'll be hearing a lot from the president. And if it's anything like this, you will be entertained. On Wednesday, Biden was speaking at a fundraiser in Washington. He was talking about immigration. It's a major political issue in the U.S. Donald Trump advocates stricter rules on immigration. Joe Biden does not. He says immigrants are important to the U.S. economy. But listen to how he defended his position. This is Joe Biden, I'm quoting. Why is China stalling so badly economically? Why is Japan having trouble? Why is Russia? Why is India? Because they're xenophobic. They don't want immigrants. Immigrants are what makes us strong. A lot to unpack here. First, the political blunder. Japan is probably America's most important ally in Asia. India is not an ally, but a partner, and a very important one at that. Washington has invested a lot in its relationship with New Delhi, yet what does Joe Biden do? Call both of them xenophobic in one sentence. Talk about a political masterstroke. Secondly, does Biden's theory make sense? In his country, perhaps it does. America's population has aged in the last decades. Many of them have left the workforce, so immigrants have plugged the gap. Let me show you some data. In 1996, immigrants made up less than 12% of the US workforce, and now more than 18%. It's a record high. There are more than 29 million foreign-born workers in the US, and what sort of work do they do? Everything, from management to services to construction. In fact, the US is often called the land of immigrants. So Biden is right about his country. But he made a crucial mistake. A mistake that lots of US politicians make. He thought America is the world. What's true in the US is true everywhere. That was his assumption, except it's not. Let's look at the three issues that Biden raised: need for immigrant workers, economic slowdown, and xenophobia. India's economy and demography are very different from the US. In India, 68% of the population is working age. It's much lower in the US. Only 59% native-born Americans are of working age. So India's problem is the opposite. We do not need foreign workers. We already have a large and young workforce. What we need is jobs for them. Which brings us to the second issue. What economic trouble is Joe Biden talking about? India's GDP grew by 8.4% in the third quarter of the last financial year. It's the fastest growing major economy in the world. Projections for the future also look good. The IMF is expecting India to grow by 6.5% in this financial year. That's 2024 to 2025. But now it has raised its projection from 6.5% to 6.8%. Compare this to other Asian economies. China is projected to grow by 4.6%. Japan could grow by 0.9%, and South Korea 2.3%. Now, don't get us wrong. India's economy faces a number of challenges. We need more reforms, we need more jobs and more investments. But immigration does not figure on anyone's list. And finally, the third issue, xenophobia. Indians have traditionally welcomed outsiders. It has been a cultural strong suit. And that continues even today. India is home to around 5.2 million immigrants. They make up the 12th largest immigrant population in the world. And where did these people come from? Mostly the neighborhood, like Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Some came in search of jobs, others escaped persecution. Yet Biden says India is xenophobic. We don't expect much nuance from the US president. After all, he's in election mode right now. So winning is his biggest priority. But he should be mindful of the consequences. We saw another goof up last month. Biden claimed that his uncle was eaten by cannibals in Papua New Guinea. Again, Papua New Guinea is a US ally. Their prime minister hit back at Biden's remarks. Listen to what he said. President Biden's remarks may have been a slip of the tongue. However, my country does not deserve to be labeled as cannibals. Do you see the problem? Biden may drop a statement and move on, but what he says has consequences. You can't just call your partner xenophobic, that too fellow democracies. His advisors better get a grip on the president's loose cannon statements. If not, one of these days, he could trigger a diplomatic.
Yep, can trigger a diplomatic incident. And it's true. Yep. So, Senator Lindsey Graham said that his phone has been turned over to the FBI after it was possibly hacked by someone impersonating Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Graham is claiming that he received a message that he believed to be from Schumer recently, but when he opened the message, it turned out to be fraudulent. The Senate Sergeant at Arms is investigating the hack, Graham's office said. Schumer uses an old flip phone and does not text. I wonder what's actually on Lindsey Graham's phone that the FBI had to intervene. Ooh. It couldn't be. Lindsey is on the far right with John McCain and the Libya ISIS leader. Yeah, couldn't be that. Yeah. You never know. All right. UNC Chapel Hill frat boy says we would have protected the American flag with his dead body from protesters. One of the students who protected the flag at UNC, Dan Stumple, gave an interview with Fox News as their GoFundMe has surpassed $400,000.
I love America. I love that side of America. It's like we all just kind of connected our brains and stood there protecting one thing, and we all were like, we all were looking at every direction. If stuff was flying in, we would say heads up. We would cover each other. We would look out for other people. We would swap. We had like for an hour, and our hands did hurt. Our arms did hurt. It was like an arm day for me that day. It was No gym happened that day afterwards. It was exhausting. You know, I remember we were all standing in there, and I think I made a joke. I was like, oh, I don't know if it's a joke, but I was like, I'd die for this flag. And everybody was like, yeah, if they get any closer, we're gonna start throwing hands. Like, we're not going anywhere. I don't care. They're gonna have to tear me off this flag, like, by my dead body, you know, stuff like that. And that was, you know, I'm smiling right now after such a insane day, but it's because it genuinely was hopeful. It was enjoyable to be in such an environment while doing what we think is right. People really took a lot of damage to protect that flag. And again, we were there for a really long time, you know, all things considered. But it makes me feel very scared for the future of this country. It's good to see people still willing to put their bodies on the line, their mind and soul on the line to protect this flag. There are still patriots in this country that actually want to fight and would, you know, sacrifice themselves for this flag, this country. And it's been missing a lot of the time, especially during this last administration. Has just been non-existent pretty much. That's why the photo is getting so many clicks and getting seen everywhere on every news site, because people want to see that. People want to see people not bending. Don't bend a knee to these people. They want you gone. They want to take over. They want to just destroy like what this country stands for, bring their own twisted ideology into every orifice of this country. And you don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. So take a stand. Be a man. Take a stand.
Good for these kids. Yeah. So this is one here. New York, New Paltz University. Meet our demands or else we won't stop being domestic terrorists. We are willing to accept the consequences until you are willing to fold to our demands. It's just kind of ridiculous.
As you just negotiate with us, and I understand that it is a policy. We are here and willing to accept consequences until you are willing to fold to our demands.
Fold to your demands, but then you said negotiate.
This isn't ending until our demands are met.
Should we take down the tents?
No!
Tents are a problem. I know that is in our policy. Hammocks are also in the policy, and that has been ignored for years on end and is used in our marketing campaign. It's unfair to me that we're using the policy now, but we haven't been using it to the hammocks for years on end.
Okay, and the hammocks don't stay up permanently either, right?
When it's nice out, hammocks are out pretty much 24/7, and I see our marketing and social media team very frequently using that for PR.
Thank you for noting it.
Is there anything that you have any questions about? Have we been unclear about our demands?
I also understand that there's some things that Senior Pulse doesn't do because they're not in our control.
Why can't you give it to
For example, we don't control the contract pieces the way you laid it out.
But it's our money. We are giving you this money, and so we are paying your bills. We are paying your paychecks. It is your responsibility, President Wheeler. It is your responsibility to figure it out. We the students have given you our demands. We have organized here together, and we are not leaving until you figure it out.
And I would say what I would like to do is to be able to work with you to bring your concerns to the places where they can make an impact.
And you can come here,
okay,
and come back with what they say.
And
there's a card with the demands on it. You can take it to your people up in Albany. You can come back here.
Nope. Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I also have to say that I would rather that this not escalate the way other campuses, because you all have done a phenomenal job.
It's up to you.
That is your responsibility.
That's your responsibility.
We're here peacefully as of right now. That escalation is not going to come from us. That escalation will come from the police. If you call the police on us, like this president of Columbia did, that is when escalation will happen. It's very simple. It's the ball is in your court. We have told you what we're doing. We've been very upfront. It's up to you.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So they get to tell the president of the college their demands and this guy just capitulates. What a pussy. Yeah.
So you remember this guy?
All right. So Sarah Field says Harry Sisson is breaking federal law, and no one is holding him accountable.
So you remember this guy named Harry Sisson? He is an influencer on TikTok, and he has done actually promotions for Joe Biden, making it look like it's organic. Apparently, he's gotten into a feud with a lady named Sarah Fields, where she was investigating him a few months ago for a bomb threat that he said was called in on him. She investigated and found no such threat. Well, when she exposed Harry, he then had someone look into the background of Sarah Fields. And as the older millennial has pointed out on X and on TikTok, he had someone dox her, expose her identity and her past that involved some very, very difficult things, including an abusive spouse. But apparently, Harry thought it was just fine. Now, what I've noticed for some time is that Harry Sisson is on live TikToks acting like he is organically supporting Joe Biden, but we know that he has been paid by the Biden campaign. And as it's been uncovered, he's been paid to do different interviews with Democratic candidates. But does he actually list any disclosure for campaign funding on any of his videos? Not that we've seen. How is Harry Sisson and the Biden campaign able to get around campaign finance laws, which are federal, by the way, and not actually put a disclaimer on the fact that this dude's getting paid to peddle this liberal message? If it were a Republican or a conservative, you can bet they would have been shut down by now, but not when you're a raging liberal.
Yeah. How about that? Going outside the finance laws. Yep. All right. Jonathan Cho says, exclusive. I've obtained a haunting final audio message sent to a friend by murder victim Lilia Goyevorodsky. It was received on April 28th. She talks about a relationship with former Basel City Council member James McNeil. The 20-year-old calls him controlling. What is it? Where'd it go? Controlling and disrespectful. She says also claims 58-year-old McNeil liked to role play as a street pimp. Sources say McNeil and Goyevorodsky were in a toxic relationship that she was trying to break off. Her naked body was found in a Seattle house a couple of days after this recording was made. McNeil has been arrested and is facing second-degree murder charges. Here we go.
Yeah, this is like, you know what, like he I know he's like finding out that like it's not so easy. I think that's probably why he's so like pursuing me, because I'm such a challenge. Like, I'm not like other girls. Like, I will literally not talk to him the whole day. I won't text him. I will not call him. I don't like, he can get me gifts. I'm not gonna be over here, oh, so excited. Like, I just act very like he does not faze me. And in reality, he does not faze me, okay? It's not like I've never met a rich guy in my life. I've grown up with my dad. So the fact that I will say no to him. I will say no to him. I am firm with him. And I think because of that challenge, that's why he's still here pursuing me. He's so into me. But like, he's trying to put me in a place where he will have all the access he wants for nothing. You know? But I am not okay with that. So like, I really see he's doing this right now. So he hates the pushback. He always says I challenge him, and he gets so frustrated because it's like he cannot, like, he gets mad with the fact that he can't get away with some of these things, you know? And I'm like, okay, I'm not an idiot, okay? Like, James, I know when you're lying to me, okay? And of course, you don't like confrontation. Of course, I know that. Who likes it? And of course, I know you're never gonna admit that you did that, but just so you know, I do know what you're doing. So I think the reason why I'm still in here is because honestly, like, I get really bored easily of guys, but I don't know, because it's such a roller coaster, like, I feel like it's just intriguing. It's just very interesting. I don't know, like, he would literally make up characters, pretend he's a sex trafficker at one point. He literally pretended that he's gonna be sex trafficking me. Can you believe it? And I thought I had a feeling it's a bullshit, but I sticked around because I wanted to hear what's the end of the story. Like, what the like this guy is just crazy, you know? Like the kind of games he plays, it's like it's crazy and it's fun because I will play it back to him. But yeah, that's like why I'm still in this. But now I'm kind of getting a little bit, I'm losing interest because he's not giving me what I want. I will not be settling for less. I will not, okay? I want a lot. I want a lot in my life. I want to be living like a fucking queen. And if he's not gonna be providing that, guess what? He thinks that, oh, maybe someday, maybe I will just accept it, you know? No, I'm not gonna accept it. I don't care. Because I will refuse to believe the fact that, oh, I can't get another guy. Like I'm so lucky he puts up with me. I'm like, shut up. I'm not lucky. Okay, guys will put up with me treating them like abusing them. So what are you talking about? Okay? I'm not lucky for anything, James. He gets so mad. This is pretty interesting, you know? But yeah, that's what's going on with me. I know it's like such a long messages. I just like wanted to share that with you.
So he killed her. Cops came and arrested him. He was completely covered with blood and everything else. All right, here's another one in regards to the ranchers. Okay, Wall Street Vape says American farmers are reaching the point of no return due to U.S. government allowing foreign countries to own our meat industries. Here we go.
The largest pork producer in the United States of America is Chinese owned.
Basically, checkoff is we're paying to fight ourselves.
Or paying to destroy our own industry. When the USDA's own data shows that the average return to feeding cattle in America is a negative $24 per head per month for the past 23 years. We're reaching the point of no return.
Yes.
When it's game over.
We're at a tough point because we're losing so many small farms and ranchers, and yet we have to change it back. Even if we were to start today and go, we could change anything we wanted overnight and change these rules to apply back competition. It's going to take a lot of time and money and effort to change the industry back to where it's competitive and works a little bit more even playing field, isn't it?
We're reaching the point of no return.
Yes.
When it's game over. And if you look at our sister industry, the hog industry, for example, 4 decades ago, there were over 600,000 independent hog producers scattered all across America. Today, we wiped out 9 out of every 10 of them. Now we're down to 60,000. And so there's an industry that is now vertically integrated.
So vertically integrated means
that the meat packer owns the entire supply chain for the
so
product.
he owns where they grow the hogs, where they butcher the hogs, where they sell the hogs, all the way up to the retailer.
And the largest pork producer in the United States of America is Chinese owned, Smithfield Farms.
Really?
Which should be alarming to consumers.
It should be
as well.
alarming. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
We're not going to reverse that hog industry because it has become so vertically integrated and concentrated and controlled. But what we can do is prevent that from happening to the cattle industry.
Makes me wish I could plant a couple of seeds, grow my own hog, and grow my own cow. Wouldn't it be great if meat grew like plants? You know, it wouldn't be that. It would be awesome. All right. Scott Lebedo, Patriot? That's the question.
What a great feeling watching those young kids in North Carolina put that American flag back up. Watching those NYPD officers take down that Palestinian flag and put up the proper flag. And those other examples that are popping up right now. A little late to the fucking game, but you're finally at the game. You see that feeling? We're gonna be okay, people. We need more of this. The simplest actions like this, people. It's that simple. Now, this post is to give a compliment. It is a backhanded compliment, but a compliment nevertheless to Mayor Adams. It was very nice what he said yesterday about the flag and America and that his uncle died for this country. And I respect that tremendously. But just because you say a couple of nice things about America doesn't make you Mel Gibson from The Patriot, son. Actions. Actions. In other words, see all of this shit happening in the universities? It shouldn't have even started. And who had the power to stop that? You, Mr. Mayor Adams. You. But sadly, you're not being very patriotic. You say patriotic things, but yet all these mom and pop businesses, American dream businesses in your city are collapsing, moving away because of your bullshit regulations like this brick oven pizza bullshit and a bunch of other stupid weird ones. And the crime that you allowed to happen in this city, destroying businesses and families and communities. And so on and so on. These illegal immigrations that you welcome here, destroying the city. This is so fucking unpatriotic. Look, Texas shut it down in a heartbeat. Florida didn't even allow it to happen. Georgia shut it down in a heartbeat. Well, it's not my... Listen to me. In the famous words of Anthony Hopkins in one of my favorite movies, The Edge, it's a Bible situation. What one man can do, another can do. So stop blaming all these other people for your incompetence. You're the mayor of the city. Put your balls on and act like one. Act like the patriot you want to be. You go up to the fucking governor and you say, this changes. You go up to the DA and it's his face and say, you lock up these little violent cocksuckers for a fucking week, for a day, for 24 hours, not in and out. And then you unlock the handcuffs on your police department and let them do their fucking job a week ago, and we wouldn't be in this shit. So your kind words moved me, and I compliment you. But you want to be Mel Gibson? Action.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I've met quite a few people who have that would have been fathers that were not married but were dating for many, many years. The woman gets pregnant. She decides to go and have an abortion without consulting the dad, and the destruction of the relationships because of that. And this guy is an example of that. Okay. Because I believe that, it takes two people to create a child. That all too often the father is excluded from the decision. I want people to understand the other perspective of this. Please, God, let this man's story go viral. Every pro-abortionist needs to hear this. If this doesn't move you, nothing will. And this is put out by Sarah Fields. Here we go.
She was 5 months along when she was aborted in New Jersey. My daughter was healthy. I begged her mother not to go through with the abortion. For 5 months, we went back and forth. I don't hate my ex. I love her. And I'm working on forgiving her. She was confused. She was uncertain. And she had doubts. Mike Tyson has doubts before he gets into a ring. This was an option, and she took that option, and she regrets it now. Why do you think, and this is just a thought that just came into my head, why do you think that people dehumanize my Clementine? Why wasn't she human enough for people to help me mourn? Why wasn't she human enough for people to talk about? My mother was given birth to prematurely at 5 months. My daughter was 5 months. I didn't get to say goodbye to my daughter. I didn't know about the abortion until after it happened. I begged her not to do the appointment. She told me that she canceled it. My daughter was 5 months and she was ripped apart. My daughter doesn't get a funeral. My daughter doesn't get respect. As my friend asked, yeah, medical testing on a healthy baby. Why? My girlfriend didn't pay for the abortion. The clinic did. How much money did they make off of my daughter's body? How many other babies did the doctor kill since she's been dead? This has been a month and 3 days. This happened March 12th and 13th. My daughter was conceived October 25th. She was supposed to be born July 20th. My daughter was a person. My daughter is an angel, and I pray for her every single day. I talk to her. I still feel like she's there. I feel like on July 20th, my daughter is going to be there. She doesn't get a funeral. I have her sonogram picture the first time I heard her heartbeat. And I bring this up to people and I say, well, she had a heartbeat. Wasn't she a person? And I'm being told she's a fetus, which, by the way, everybody, that's Latin for offspring. Okay. So I don't know why we're speaking Latin. I speak English. And my daughter not only matters, but I do not want my daughter to be forgotten. I want my daughter's story to be talked about. I want her to be remembered. She wasn't just a fetus. And yeah, maybe she was just a 10%. Maybe. But she was a lot more than that for me. For 5 months, I'm told by my friends, I'm crying over somebody I never met before. I'm told by people, well, she wasn't even a person. She was just a fetus. She wasn't even a baby. She wasn't fully developed. My daughter was still growing. And my relationship with my daughter was going to grow for the rest of our lives. Why isn't my daughter human enough for people to care? Why isn't my daughter woman enough for her to have a body and for her to have a choice? My original question when I was coming up here was, can I see the clamps? I don't want to see the clamps no more. I've heard enough about it and I've seen the pictures. And yeah, the guy said Wi-Fi and Google search. You could Google what it looks like. It's out there. I did. I wouldn't recommend it. I still have nightmares. My daughter was going to be beautiful, but now I don't know where she is. I'm just so confused. I get it. I'm just a man. You know what I mean? But men, we're not supposed to have feelings. As a father, because I'm still a father. As a father, I'm just supposed to forget. I'm just supposed to move on. And I'm confused. So my question really isn't for you because you understand. My question is really for society. Why doesn't my daughter matter? Why wasn't she enough? Why didn't she get a chance to live? And ultimately, no, I'm not blaming my ex. She had doubt and she regrets it. Ultimately, this is our government's fault. We've stopped evil laws in the past in America, in Germany, and you guys know what I'm talking about. We came together and we stopped evil laws. This is an evil law that killed my daughter. Her mother did not kill her. Again, doctors like this man right here, you're not to blame. Thank you for doing what you're doing and thank you for speaking up because this is important. And not enough men care enough to speak up. So thank you. I hugged this man today. I don't know who did this to my daughter. I wish I could ask him, was my daughter beautiful? That's all I want to know. What did her face look like? My daughter matters. And I really hope that everybody remembers Clementine. And I hope you think about Clementine as much as I do. She is loved and she is not forgotten. And I hope that everybody can keep her memory alive too. Thank you.
Well, your daughter is beautiful. She's more beautiful than us because she's not here in this imperfect world. To answer your question bluntly as to why didn't Clementine matter enough? The answer is people don't want her to matter because they don't want to have to accept responsibility for their actions. They want to dehumanize, right? They want to use words like fetus or embryo or zygote, which is a stage of our life that we all once were, to separate the child in the womb from us, persons outside the womb. Because when you look at this, stages of genocide, number 4 is dehumanization. So when we use words like zygote or embryo or fetus, it's not because we're trying to be scientifically precise and saying, oh, an embryo in this stage, a human in this stage, the embryo stage. We use that word because we try to make it seem like they're not like us. Because if we would defer to her as a baby, as a beautiful little girl, that she was and she is, right? If we refer to her as a baby, it makes us think twice about saying, yeah, I think abortion should be legal. And we want to say abortion should be legal because abortion allows us to not accept consequences and responsibility. It allows us to have sex with however many people we want, to seek pleasure wherever we can find it, and not accept a responsibility for our actions and to be adults. Once we refer to our children in the womb as children, as they are, as young ones, right? As offspring, what the definition of fetus is, that changes the entire conversation. Because it's not just some foreign alien that doesn't look like us and therefore it's okay to kill them. We know it's a human being with rights, and just because their age or their size or level of development shouldn't change their human nature and their fundamental rights not to be killed. Your daughter, it was legal to kill your daughter because, and I'm going to get even more blunt, because we want to be selfish. We want to be able to do whatever we want and accept no consequences for it. Except in cases of sexual assault, we want to say abortion should be legal because we want to do what we want to do and we're more important than everybody else. That is selfishness. It's hedonism. It's immoral and it's wrong. But Clementine is beautiful and she's in heaven, so she's in way more beauty than we are. So we already know that answer to that question. Thank you.
And, you know, like I said, I have a few friends that I've had some conversations with that went through that. You know, they wanted the child, but their partner did not, because they were going to get fat, because they were going to have stretch marks, because it would take them forever to lose the belly fat after having the child. That their hoochie would no longer be the same because of pushing a baby out it. You know, all these different perspectives, you know, and different stories that these guys, you know, had in conversation with me, you know, and they were hurting. They were hurting because they didn't get to be, their opinions didn't matter. The fact that they had the money to be able to raise the child by themselves, even if the mom decided to leave the child, didn't matter. Okay. That they were capable of providing, you know, a stable home and care and medical and everything else for the child, didn't matter. Didn't matter. It was, again, you know, it's like looking at it and saying that there are no consequences for these things, when in all actuality, those consequences will be faced when the person who made the decision to go and have it done, you know, they say, well, there's a manipulation from the doctors. Well, yeah, there is. So absolutely. But the fact of the matter is she made the choice to walk through the doors to begin with, you know. And I've met women who've had, they said, well, I've had multiple abortions and I'd do it again. And I'm like, you know, you're killing God's creations. You know, the egg and the sperm may come together, but the fact of the matter, the spark of life and the spirit comes from our Creator. You know, and you know, that's just a fact. All right. So yesterday we listened to this guy. He went on one rant. Now we're going to listen to him go on. He's going to go on another rant. Here we go.
So I know yesterday's video melted a lot of your minds, and today's gonna melt the rest of them because this one's wild. I want to answer a question I got a lot yesterday and also throw in a few hand grenades that's going to give you some things to think about tonight and probably keep you up for a while. So yesterday we talked about how a lot of the UFOs you see are actually spiritual submarines. They don't fly here from other planets, they literally sink. So we're in the lowest density realm here in the material world, and there's 6 densities above us, right? And as you go up, they get lighter and lighter until you get to the absolute pure light energy. So for these beings that exist in these realms to come to our realm, just like we go into the sea and we have to increase our density and sink down into the sea in a submarine, they sink into our density here. They have to become more dense. So they get in these Merkaba crafts and they sink down into our reality here, right? And people are like, okay, cool, I get that, blowing my mind, but I get it, it actually resonates. And a lot of people are like, this clicks, it makes a lot of sense because it's truth. But then they're like, okay, what about UFOs that people have seen? Crashed ones. People have seen them come out of the ocean. People have touched them. People have been aboard them, abducted. What about those? It's like, okay, I'm glad you asked that because this is a cosmic zoo out there. So what I was talking about yesterday were the higher realm etheric beings and how they get into our lower density material world here. I wasn't talking about the UFOs on Earth and ultra terrestrials. That's what y'all are talking about. So ultra terrestrials is basically what we call aliens that come from Earth and inside the moon, but mainly inside the Earth. And this is where it gets really complex and fun because what my research has told me is that a lot of what we see, the most common aliens that people see are the Greys and the Nordics, okay? That's the most common by far. I understand there's Draco and reptilians and there's Mantis and there's blue people and all that stuff. I get it, but the most common by far, whenever you research this, like John Mack did, MUFON, the most common ones are the Nordics and the Greys, okay? So what my research has shown me, and I did videos on this, I've done a lot of videos on this, the Greys are either us or these mechanical kind of clones of us in the far future. And the Nordics are actually our progenitors. They're who created us. You would call them the Anunnaki, you can call them the Olympians, you can call them the Devas, whatever you want to call them, but they came before us. Now, if you think about it that way, that the tall Nordics are our progenitors, so they're basically our parents, they're who created us, and then the Greys, we create them or actually turn into them, more of like a kind of a hybrid android thing as we get more in this transhuman movement and everything. So then the two leading aliens on Earth are forms of humans. The progenitor humans, what are actually considered the level 4 humans, the fourth iteration of kind of human-like beings on Earth, were the fifth. So they were the fourth and we're the fifth. And then the Greys would be the future us. Okay, so all of the aliens that we're used to seeing that are abducting us, that are flying out of the volcanoes in the ocean and buzzing our jets and doing all this kind of stuff are coming from inside the Earth. They're ultra terrestrials, and they're actually not aliens. They would actually be humans in a way, right? The Greys are humanoid, you know, and the Nordics are human. You know, we're Homo sapien sapien. I think they're Homo sapien, or they're some form of ancient, you know, version of us. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting because they figured out time travel whenever they mastered anti-gravity. These ships that they're in are anti-gravity ships, right? So once you manipulate gravity, you manipulate time because it's time-space, you know, continuum. So they've been going back and forth in time. So like what we talked about yesterday is we're in this realm, this level here, and you can't escape it. You have to graduate up, okay? The only way to graduate up is to finish all of your karmic loops and do all of your missions and basically, you know, shed all of your material things and lighten your load and become higher. You have to ascend. You have to raise your vibration and you basically ascend up. You know, remember we came down and like a submarine. You have to, you know, kind of undense yourself, right? Lighten your load so you can rise back up. So what I call it ascension. Anyways, so they're stuck here. So if you think about it, they might be technologically advanced. They might have all these, you know, cool machines and ships and stuff and anti-gravity, and they can travel around in time and they can travel vast distances, but they're still in this material realm, right? So this is where it gets super fascinating because there's a theory called something along the lines of ancient future, or you know, something like that, where it basically proposes that the reason why like Atlantis and so many of these, you know, archaeological builds and stuff that we're finding all around the world that are very, very old, thousands of years old, are so much more advanced than anything that we can even do today. Think about the pyramids just as one example. And it's actually because, think about if you are this race like the Nordics that are in this physical density here, and you can't ascend up and you're kind of stuck in this world, but you've mastered all these technologies and that kind of stuff. And maybe in the future, our planet has gone through some changes. Maybe it's not a desirable place to live. So you can't leave here, right? You can't get in your ship and just leave. You're stuck here. Where would you go? You would go back in time. So there's a chance that Atlantis, way back in time, was seeded and started by future humans as far as time goes. You know what I mean? Time's weird. So that's why there's so many advanced artifacts and signs of technology and ways of building and that kind of stuff from way back, thousands of years ago, because they actually came from the future, right? Because it's just like travel, it's just like, instead of traveling to a different place on Earth, because what if Earth is all fucked up at this point? They would travel back in time. They would find some period where everything's peaceful and nice, and they would go there. So there's a good chance that ancient Atlanteans are actually future humans. There's also a good chance that the Greys are stuck in this realm too. Like I said, the only way you can get out of here is to ascend up. Well, if the Greys have some sort of a degraded form of consciousness and maybe they can't spiritually ascend, they're kind of stuck here too. So they're time traveling all around as well. And I think what they're trying to do is like hybridize and become more human so that they can have this consciousness so that they can leave this realm. You know what I mean? Everyone's just trying to get out of here in whatever way they can, So that explains, like, hopefully that helps to explain the fact that even though what I was talking about yesterday with these Merkaba crafts were like higher spiritual beings, like literally sink down into our realm here, that explains that. And then when people talk about, physical craft that actually land or crash, or that we have reverse engineered and that kind of stuff, that's actually future humans, but probably actually Atlanteans. Because when we think of Atlantis, we think of ancient past, but I think they came from the future. Okay. And I understand. I get it. I know what you're thinking. Jordan, you've officially lost it. But I'm telling you, man, I mean, just keep thinking about it. Keep pulling on that thread and keep thinking about that, And what we're about to see coming up, I'll just leave you with this. This doesn't really have anything to do with this, but just another grenade I'll throw into your brain. So we're talking about this pole flip coming up. And, I've done a lot of research into where Atlantis is, because I'm very interested in Atlantis. Atlantis, I'm convinced, is Antarctica. And the reason why it's Antarctica and it's all frozen is because if you go to Charles Hapgood's theory of crustal displacement and that kind of stuff, what they think actually causes the poles to flip is the fact that our magnetic field weakens, which it is now, but it's also because when the polar ice caps, they get so dense with ice, they get so heavy that Earth gets top heavy, and literally the crust like slides over it like a peel of an orange or something, right? And it can like slide thousands of miles, and it can like displace entire continents and that kind of stuff, right? And that's basically, so our poles don't flip necessarily. It's not like the magnetic north and south flip like that, but the actual crust, it gets so top heavy with all the ice that it slides over the core. And that is what's happened throughout the ages, and that's why things are in weird places and nothing really makes sense historically. So if that's going to happen again, I think that the elites and people that know what I'm telling you right now know this is going to happen, and they're starting to kind of stake their claim on Atlantis. You're starting to see a lot more, like, right now, like Iran is threatening to, or saying they're going to start putting military bases on in Atlantis. A lot of people know that if this thing happens again, if it slides again and everything gets displaced again, that Antarctica will no longer be this frozen wasteland. Is going to thaw out. And when it thaws out, we're going to realize that there are vast civilizations, like structures, pyramids, roadways, everything from a very, very advanced civilization hidden underneath all that ice. And then that's going to change a lot of things. And I think you're starting to see people moving their, playing musical chairs and moving their things around right now, getting ready for that potentiality. Just to leave you with that little nugget. But anyways, let me know what you think about what I said to begin with and ending with about, basically the Nordics being, future humans that went back in time and picked a place to make Atlantis to escape whatever happens in the future. And then the Greys also just being these concoctions that we made in the future that, since they don't have a consciousness and can't ascend up, they're just kind of zipping around trying to hybridize and figure out how to get out of this realm, and we're kind of stuck in the middle. So all of what we see as aliens are really just different forms and versions of human beings. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. These students were told to stay silent, so they decided to throw a massive party, worshiping the Lord. gotta love it. You gotta love it. In the midst of the turmoil, some of these kids are being really smart. I responded to this particular video with, I trust this guy less and less every day. Outside the Matrix crash, they bring up the assassination idea again. Then at the 33-minute mark, Flynn says Trump needs to watch his back. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, you mentioned something of a possible Trump assassination, because angels are on both of your shoulders, buddy. I'm going to tell you that right now, for you to still be able to talk and be alive with the things that you have exposed. It's insane. And quite honestly, what do you think about that? How are you still able to be alive right now with the things that you have gone through?
Yeah. Well, you know, and I have discussed these scenarios, okay, and because they're real, because they've happened in the past, and they're real, and these are scenarios, right? These are scenarios that could occur, you know, in the day and age that we're in. Right. I mean, they are going to work overtime to try to cause dissent within the ranks, and so I think that we have to be careful. And I do say to President Trump, you know, sort of watch your six, right? Watch your back. You know, I gotta have security with me all the time. That's crazy.
Yeah. Funny how that works. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right with you. Hang on. All right. Okay. Got that done. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. So I trust this guy less and less every single day. Okay, guys. This is it. This is the culmination of everything that we've worked for. This is the inside of Joe Biden's head. Here we go.
Who is running the speech? We need to choose our words.
And I don't want to choose my words.
No, don't say choose my words out loud. That's just the part I say in here.
There's been a response from the
Hamas!
yes, I'm sorry, from Hamas.
Why does he keep glitching like this?
Sorry, wasn't I supposed to unplug this?
Oh, Dementia, how'd you get in here, buddy?
I was walking around and here I was.
Hey, guys, he's getting off the helicopter. We gotta say something to the press.
Wait, where's Dementia?
He's in the bathroom.
My butt's been wiped. No!
My butt's been wiped.
Who is running the speech? We need to choose our words.
What the hell are you doing? Oh. Sorry, guys. All right. Let's see. Okay. I was never an Alice Cooper fan, but now I am. Well, I was never an Alice Cooper fan either, except for his song called "We Are All Crazy." Yeah, here we go.
Tell them who Jesus Christ is to you.
Well, I mean, everything. I mean, you know, we're not here without him. Most people I know, young people, think Jesus Christ is a swear word.
Yeah.
You know, even at Solid Rock, you know, where we have the teenagers down there,
right.
They have no idea that who Jesus Christ is.
Yeah.
He's not preached enough.
Yeah.
You know, most written about character of all time
yes.
in history.
Right.
And yet people go out of their way to not believe in him.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they don't want to give up their godship. They believe the Hollywood version of, oh, I do more good than bad, that kind of thing. And I go, why is that? Satan's got you right where he wants you.
Yeah.
You know, to believe that.
Yeah.
I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by me.
Right.
I said, those are the truest words ever spoken.
Yeah. Tell them who Jesus Christ is to you.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. All right, moving on. Okay. I thought this was good. How many genders are there?
How many genders are there?
172.
It's hard to know, really. It's changing all the time. So, your species is evolving that rapidly. Remarkable. What are these genders and how do they function?
Function? I don't understand.
Why, yes. On my planet, the female gender is the giver of life, raising and nurturing our young, preserving our civilization for eons to come, while the males mostly make multiple trips to Space Home Depot.
What you're talking about is sex. Gender is something different.
Exactly. People can identify with genders different than their natal sex or with none at all.
But why?
It's just the way we feel.
No! It was the way we're born.
Well, of course, a lot of times they don't realize how they were born until someone tells them. Someone like a teacher, social media influencer.
Oh, I understand. On this planet, there are people who are men and people who are women and people who are mentally ill. How many genders are there?
Why does it take an alien to figure it out, right? Yeah. All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. Nature Girl posted this one. How do XXX Tesla and the Emerald Tablet connect? There we go.
So Nikola Tesla always said 369 is the key to the universe, and nobody really understood why. Einstein, a ton of other scientists have credited him that it's accurate. People don't understand it. I'm going to put you on to how I figured it out, and weirdly enough, you wouldn't expect the source it came from. So it actually came from XXX. How is the best question you could ever ask. Right before he died, he switched up his music to really positive, influential stuff. I never listened to his music much, but somebody told me he was obsessed with the golden scarab in Egypt. He said, you want enlightenment, you need to research this. So I started doing heavy research into Egyptian mythology, the golden scarab, all these things, and it led me back to something called the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Cat Williams, Billy Carson, a lot of these people talk about it all the time, and you guys don't listen. You guys need to listen to what these people say. Now, these tablets are believed to be 38-ish thousand years old. Nobody really knows, but they are scarily accurate to even now. I mean, it talks about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, astrology. In a time where we were poking bears with sticks that fell out of trees so we could get food. It's how did they even carve this, first off? I mean, there's so many questions here, but I want to just walk you guys through how I found it and leave you to read it on your own, because it's cryptic and it's kind of up for interpretation, and I'm not sure mine's accurate, so I'm gonna leave it to you guys. So I landed at the golden scarab, and basically the idea behind the scarab in Egyptian mythology was it could take, shit and turn it into life. A dung beetle, it would plant its seeds in dung, roll them around, and then suddenly life comes out of it. That's how alchemy started. Alchemy is turning shit into gold, basically, through energy, through the physical, really however you want to word it. So I kept following the info back as far back as I could find, and I landed in Sumeria, which talks about a lot of weird stuff. Anunnaki, aliens, human origins, and it put me on a rabbit hole I spent a couple months on that ended up leading me to the Gateway tapes. I started doing those. I astral projected, and it told me, put your phone in front of your face, talk about the things you learn, and you'll have more success than you've ever had. My TikTok blew up within 3 days. I'm 32 days into this, and I've never had this much success. There is something here for everybody, and you guys need to research this. And just for those of you that are very skeptical, which being skeptical is healthy until, you're just closing your mind off completely. It explains celestial mechanics, terrestrial events. These guys knew that the moon controlled the tides. They knew that the moon controlled the tides in the earliest back that we have human history. Now, aside from that, we also have stuff like the Flower of Life, which explains quantum carpets and all kinds of stuff I'm not going to touch on because I don't understand it as well as I wish I did, but it's wild. Now, when you research these tablets further and, you follow it all the way back and then follow it forward, you see references in almost every single religion. I mean, it's in the Islamic religion, Buddhism, Pythagoras talks about it. I mean, all of these geniuses of our different time periods throughout humanity reference things straight from this. If you've ever heard as above, so below, it comes straight from these texts. Now, again, weirdly enough, I have this man to thank for putting me down this rabbit hole that led me to understanding all of this stuff and led me to researching human origins and ended up bringing me to my own success. Now, again, these even go over a lot of stuff about the pyramids, how they were built, and it makes more sense than any modern interpretations or theories that we have today. Side note, my analytics show most of you guys are watching my videos at 2 a.m., so I'm gonna hit you with a ah! So this this is Thoth in Egyptian hieroglyphs. Now, these tablets are supposed to be 38,000 years old. The pyramids of Egypt were ancient compared to the Egyptians that we know today in our history books. How did they get there? This is the most credible and honestly credible info we have. Again, they carved these insanely accurate writings that hold up today with science, with everything. They knew about how astrology worked, the moon controlling the tides, all these crazy things. In a time where humans were living in caves and poking each other and animals with sticks that fell out of trees. We didn't have tools yet. The craziest part is how in the fuck did they even carve it? First off. Second off, I mean, think about the pyramids are such a big mystery. It blows my mind. I mean, these tablets have so much in there and it's overlooked by most people, and frankly, a lot of people don't know about it. It was really cool to see Cat Williams talk about it on the Joe Rogan podcast. Billy Carson says some wild things, but he backs it up with receipts, and most of them go back to the tablets written by Mr. Birdman Thoth here. I can't stress it enough. Look into it, especially if you're doing Gateway and trying to open yourself spiritually. These tablets will assist that knowledge so heavily. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you enjoyed my scream. Send it to somebody and have them watch it at 2 a.m. if you want them to have a nice jolt awake. Love you all.
That scream was unworthy of a 2 a.m. wake up. Yeah. You have no idea how to do it right. All right. Just in. I mean, therefore, I am says this is not a Middle Eastern country. This is pro-Palestine protest happening as we speak in Denmark.
So Nikola Tesla always said
Yeah, I don't need to see any more of that, but it just gives you an idea of what's going on. This is the one I was telling you before about the son of Holy Totes. Y'all better watch. No joke. I don't know who she is, but clearly is dumb. He nails her balls to the wall. Watch this. And this is the son of Hamas, Mossab Hassan Yosef, who humiliates a terror supporter in a confrontation and easily exposes her hypocrisy and the Palestinian lie. Here we go.
Since October 7, I personally don't differentiate between Hamas and what's so-called Palestinians. Because actually there is no Palestinians. There are tribes. There is the tribe of Hamas, and there is the tribe of the Islamic Jihad, and there is the tribe of Khalil, and there is the tribe of Nablus. And each one has different interests, and all of them are conflicted. If they did not have Israel as the common enemy, they would kill each other. This is the reality of what's so-called Palestine. Rhetoric? You don't know what Palestine is. Actually, in fact, the keffiyeh that you are wearing, this is just a statement to show that you really lack the authenticity to represent the case. And what's so-called the cause, you know, this is a human problem.
So you just...
The cause must die. I think enough is enough. And now it's proven, and you are helping Hamas to prove it to the world that Palestine depends on the destruction of the state of Israel. And this is not acceptable, and we are not going to agree to it. And I tell you something, for the next 10 or 20 years, the Palestinian people will pay the bill that Hamas is caused today, and most likely in blood.
To you, Hamas and Palestinians are the same, they're one and the same.
After October 7, yes, there is no difference.
Really?
The vast majority of the Palestinian people support Hamas.
Really?
This is a fact. This is proven by statistics, and your silence now. You cannot even condemn Hamas and say that what they did on October 7 was an act of a savage group. You don't have that power.
Said I condemn.
On what authority do you speak? You only speak on the authority of Hamas propaganda.
No, why do you say that I'm speaking on the authority of Hamas propaganda?
Because if you were a decent human being, you can say that the thousands were killed on October 7. That was a crime against humanity. It was a genocide.
I think she got a little tongue-tied there at the end. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. My comment to this particular video that I'm about to play from the libs of TikTok. She says AOC claims roads in New York City are racist beyond parody. And I responded with, why is it every time AOC speaks, I get more stupider? Here we go.
There is a psychic weight to living in communities that are designed to be disconnected. It affects your social life. My neighborhood that I'm from in the Bronx and Parkchester, we have some of the longest commutes in all of New York City. It is a commute not just to work, it is a commute to do anything. It is a commute to connect socially. It is a commute to connect spiritually. These decisions are designed to disconnect, disempower, and isolate people. And when you layer that with a lot of Robert Moses's racist intent, to very much do so to a very specific kind of people, Black, brown, low income, poor, etc. You can really see how it actually builds in organizing challenges to communities who actually want to empower themselves. There is.
Okay, and this comes from the woman who presented a bill to Congress to get rid of AM radios because people want to listen to the radio at nighttime too. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is another perspective of, and this is what I was saying before, okay, in regards to Israel, about them being assisted by the UN to establish an Israeli state in Palestine, in the country of Palestine, that has been for more than 500 years, okay? It's been almost 2,000 years since Christ was on the planet. And guess what? It was Palestine then. Yep. It was, Herod said to tell Caesar that there would be no Messiah in Israel while he was alive, or in Palestine while he was alive. Okay, here we go.
Of course, war is horrible, so why did the Palestinians initiate this war with their vicious attack on Israelis on October 7th?
Well, they didn't. What do you mean they didn't? They didn't. This war has been going on for 75 years. Israel initiated it in 1948 by ethnically cleansing 750,000 people.
Okay, 750,000 people were ethnically cleansed in order to give Israel a home. They killed them all.
We must expel Arabs. We must expel Arabs and take their places.
The U.S.
We must expel Arabs and take their places. And if we have to use force, not to dispossess the Arabs of the Negev and Transjordan, but to guarantee our own right to settle in those places, then we have force at our disposal. David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, said that in 1937. And that's what they proceeded to do. The people in Gaza, this is what you need to understand. The people in Gaza, over 80% of them are refugees. Many of them are from a place called Majdal Asqalon in what is now southern Israel, in a city called Ashkelon. And they were dragged from their homes and driven from their homes, placed in prison camps, barbed wire prison camps, and then dumped in trucks in 1950 into the Gaza Strip where they would be permanently warehoused. And then Israel proceeded to move Arab, Jewish refugees and Russians into Ashkelon to prevent them from ever coming back, and pass laws to prevent Arabs, Palestinians from being able to return to their homes. 750,000 were ethnically cleansed. For 18 years, the remaining Palestinians, 100,000 were internally displaced inside Israel. The remaining were put under military rule. They were under military occupation until 1966. Then in 1967, Israel violently, in a war it initiated, occupies Gaza, occupies the West Bank, occupies the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights in East Jerusalem, and then invades Lebanon in 1982, attacking Palestinian refugees there, puts Gaza under siege in 2005. No one can get in or out without Israeli military permission. We must kill and kill all day, every day. That's according to Arnon Sofer, an Israeli government consultant who helped devise the siege of Gaza. For years, Israel would not allow certain chocolates and A2 paper into Gaza. And then they began these brutal military assaults, which they call mowing the lawn. Slaughtering a few people will leave Hamas intact, but teach them a lesson. And I talked to you about those assaults that took place on Gaza. So this didn't come out of a vacuum. You're not going to be able to hold people under siege, to cut them off from the world, and then expect them to just play along. That doesn't mean that I celebrate what happened on October 7th. It should have never had to happen. The reason it happened is because of the Israel lobby here, the genocide Democrats and the genocide Republicans who deny the Palestinians any right to have rights. And it's the right to have rights that defines you as a citizen. They're citizens of nothing. And now we see what Israel really thinks of them, really thinks of their children. Gaza has become a graveyard for children, according to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. So this didn't start on October 7th, and it's not going to end when there's a ceasefire.
Yep. We're going to go into somebody else's country and take it away from them. Yeah. Sir Oliver Pollock says, did you know Richard Gere was blacklisted from all Madam services in New York City because he was too freaky? This was long before Kevin Spacey. I wonder what kind of freaky he was into. I don't know if I want to go there. Yeah. Let's see. So Amuse says each of these illegals receive auto parole and get social security numbers so they can work. Fun fact, with an SSN, you can register to vote without an ID. It's illegal, but there is no system in place to catch or stop them. Yeah. President Trump has a new statement out about the documents case and the raid on Mar-a-Lago by the FBI. Laura Loomer says, end the boxes hoax, MAGA 2024, DJT. Donald Trump says it has always been clear the documents case is nothing but an election interference scam concocted by crooked Joe Biden, deranged Jack Smith, and their hacks and thugs. Now deranged Jack has admitted in a filing in front of Judge Cannon to what I have been saying happened since the illegal raid on my home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, that he and his team committed blatant evidence tampering by mishandling the very boxes they used as a pretext to bring this fake case. These deeply illegal actions by the political prosecutors mandate that this whole witch hunt be dropped immediately. End the boxes hoax, MAGA 2024. Yep. There you go. All right. Matt from Cultive elevates NPCs in the realm. If 5% know what is going on, what is going with the rest of them? Here we go.
I live in New York City. I think that there are many Cabbage Patch Babies descendants living here as well as NPCs. Oh yes, when you get into this, there are tons of NPCs floating around us all the time. There was a funny meme I saw that it said, why is only 5% of the world knowing what's going on? And you start to sit there and think, yeah, only 5% is actually aware of what's going on. Like, what is the rest of the population doing? You know, like, what are they doing with their time? Like, they are not aware of any of the things going on. Faking in the moon landing, altering of the weather, nothing, like nothing at all. So then you start to sit there and think, okay, well, what is going on? Well, maybe they're an NPC. They've just been downloaded into this realm and they just are here to exist. And you walk into a store and they say, hey, how are you? And you say, hey, how are you? And they say, how's the weather? And you go, it's chemtrails. And they go, what do you mean? And you just go about your day because you just realize you've encountered an NPC. You just better not continue that conversation. It's just going to keep going you in circles.
Andy's right. There's a certain point where you just have to walk away from them because their stupidity is way too out of whack. Okay, so here's a good one for you. Meanwhile, in Iran, it's raining fish. Yes, you read that correctly. Raining fish. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Stephen 2A says 100% right on the money. Nobody really cared until you started messing with our kids. Just leave our kids alone. Here we go.
How the hell does our existence as trans people affect your life?
I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to explain it to you. See, it never did affect our lives. No one gave a fuck at all. We might have found it kind of weird, but we didn't give a fuck. Until you started shoving it down our throats and forcing it into our children's lives. That's when people started giving a fuck. That's when it started affecting us. Because it's being shoved into everything. And when it comes to our children, that's the one place that we draw the fucking line.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. Yep. All right. Moving on. Estes destroys Yellen on Bidenomics lie. Here we go.
Mr. Estes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Yellen, for joining us today. As you know, last month, the inflation came in hotter than expected for the third month in a row, which is a hit to American families by itself, but it's not just a one-time impact. Inflation's cumulative, and hardworking Kansans have been suffering for 3 years now, as this chart behind me indicates. You know, since Joe Biden took office, inflation's up over 19%. Joint Economic Committee estimate that Kansans are paying an average of nearly $1,000 more per month for the same goods and services, the same food, the same clothes, the same gas, the same rent that they did in January of 2021. And since then, in total, the average Kansan household has spent $23,600 more due to inflation. At the same time, net income is down almost 4%. I know your boss and his administration like to point to rosier numbers, but the fact is, for everyday Americans, the chart behind me is the epitome of Bidenomics, and it's a complete failure. You know, several years ago, Secretary, you mentioned that and called inflation transitory. And since you said that, I think that's the wrong word, but I guess I'd like to ask you what you would call inflation now. What word would you use?
Well, inflation has come down considerably, and the consensus of thinking among economists is that it was largely due to supply shocks that are mitigating, and our inflation has been quite similar to that in other advanced countries around the world, which suggests it was due to supply shocks connected with the pandemic.
I think you'll
Inflation
have
has come
you'll
down.
have a difference of opinion in economists. I mean, we even had Democrat and Republican economists in 2021 talking about the extra spending that was coming proposed by the administration that was actually going to result in this inflation, and actually that's what we've seen.
Well,
I think most Americans would use phrases like crippling or painful or hindering the pursuit of the American dream. In fact, my constituents tell me about the challenges they face when they fill up their cars or buy their groceries or pay the rent or mortgage. And the numbers show the pain behind me that's still continuing to increase to this day. They're the results of Bidenomics, and the policies have been increased by the Democrats over the last 3 years.
I think Americans
I do
care.
also want to switch gears a little bit before I run out of time. You mentioned earlier that that in the discussion with Chairman Smith that President Biden was not going to increase taxes on people making less than $400,000. In fact, I have a tweet here from Joe Biden dated 1 week ago today in talking about the Trump tax cuts. And he said, this tax cut is going to expire. If I'm reelected, it's going to stay expired. I did some quick calculations, and basically what that means is that there's going to be a 25% increase in the tax rate on people that make less than $44,000. There's going to be an additional $14,000 tax increase on people making less than $95,000, and additional increases on others up until making the $400,000. So if this tweet is right, that came from President Biden, he is going to increase taxes on people making less than $400,000.
President Biden has repeatedly issued a set of principles that will guide his negotiations, and he has repeatedly said that he will not support increases on families making under $400,000. And I haven't looked at the tweet
I'm sorry.
myself.
I really want to get to one
that
other
is
point
not
before we
what
run out
he-
of time. But I can send you this tweet if you'd like to see that later after the committee. But I do want to get and talk a little bit about OECD. I know it's been brought up before, particularly Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. I mean, I've stated several times in the hearing room that in principle, Republicans and Democrats are in favor of eliminating the discriminatory digital services taxes and provide tax simplicity and consistency for businesses in the growing digital economy. However, despite the ongoing discussions, we're still seeing more and more countries like Canada enact DSTs, and the proliferation of Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 has provided foreign countries the opportunity to raid our tax base. In fact, Pillar 2, as pointed out by the Joint Tax Committee on Taxation, is going to cost the U.S. Treasury tax revenue. Pillar 2 itself, as pointed out by my colleague, Representative Ferguson, that is $120 billion. And earlier this year, JCT report on Pillar 1 note that the plurality of in-scope countries would be from the U.S., and likely that the U.S. Treasury would forego between $100 million and $4.4 billion per year in tax receipts. In fact, I recently heard from one Fortune 100 company that they'd be required to send between 100 and 500 million from the U.S. Treasury to countries like France and Germany and Japan. I think these policies that have been negotiated with OECD are dangerous for our U.S. tax base. We're already struggling to collect enough revenue, and I think we need to change course. I'm sorry I'm out of time. I'd like to talk more about this with you, but I'll yield back, Chairman.
Yeah, she's. I think she's been getting into Joe's pills. All right, you gotta turn up your speakers a little bit for this one. This is they're everywhere. LOL. Here we go.
I want to tell you my secret now. I see dumb people walking around like regular people. They only see what they want to see. They don't know they're dumb. They're everywhere.
Okay. All right. So here's another opinion on Israel. Here we go. Older millennial. I have been asked to speak on this topic no less than 500 times. There we go.
So, H.R. 6090, the Congressional Anti-Semitism Bill. This is a topic that I've been asked no less than 500 times to make a video about. And if I'm being honest, I really took my time on this one because I couldn't believe all the things that people were actually saying about it. So I read the bill, and I am 100% against it. And I know to a lot of you that may seem off-brand for me, because as you know, I am 100% supporter of Israel. No matter what, no questions asked, I got Israel's back. I am a firm supporter of the Israeli and the Jewish people, and I 100% support everything they're doing in Gaza. But more than that, I am a constitutional absolutist. I absolutely and totally believe in abiding by the Constitution of the United States. And this bill doesn't do that. In fact, this bill would contradict the Constitution. This bill would make free speech impossible. And while I support the people they're trying to protect, I don't at the expense of our Constitution. I don't support that at the expense of our free speech. And I recognize the slippery slope that this would put us on. And I recognize that that's exactly what the government's doing. They are trying to drum up support, not for stopping anti-Semitism, but for exceptions to free speech, for exceptions to our Constitution. And we have to be smart enough not to fall for it. The way you combat anti-Semitism is to call it out. It's to call out the people that are being anti-Semitic. It's not to stop them from speaking. Free speech is an absolute right we have in this country. And like I said, even though I fully support the people this bill is trying to protect, the consequences of it are just too great. No person who considers themselves a conservative, no person who considers themselves an actual American, no person who is proud of this nation and wants to continue to see this nation succeed, none of those people should support this bill. No matter how much we want to defend Israel, no matter how much we want to defend the Jewish people, we cannot compromise our Constitution for it. So while I will continue to support the Israeli people, I'll continue to support the Jewish people, I'll continue to support Israel in their fight, this bill is just wrong, and there's no way I can support it.
That's a clear-headed, take on this. Yep. All right. Chaos Coordinator posted this one. American across all political spectrums feel like this.
If nobody's gonna say it, I guess I will. I freaking hate this place. We really let an unhinged government take over our whole individuality, our whole life. And we just sitting here just taking it like, yeah. Like, what? What are we doing? What are we really doing? And everybody just walking around, oh yeah, great. Like ain't nothing happening. They're taking our rights away, which means we're headed into what? Martial law. And everybody just sitting here as if this shit is normal. 50% of our freaking work. So you work 80 hours and I get my check. And you telling me I'm only gonna get half of my check? Yeah, I worked, fool. Rent is too damn high, yet we steady building. Building for what? Emptiness. We have a homeless crisis. Steady building. Food is through the roof, yet the shows are still full. I made multiple videos about this. And no one's catching on. What are we doing? We really sitting here and let this freaking group of people that we never even met control the masses. Yet we are the masses who can eat the small group. When will we actually get some damn balls, Tony Montana, and swallow them up? Like, I don't understand what's happening. And that's why they want to ban the freaking app. How you gonna sneak a ban in a freaking bill? See how dirty they playing? And you steady sitting here like it's normal. Like, what are you doing?
Well, there's 2 points that she made. Number one, I do not want to eat them, and I do not want to swallow. So, but everything else she said was pretty on point. Yeah. All right. Wake up. It gets worse before it gets better. And I've been telling you guys this since I started podcasting. It's going to get worse before it gets better. We ain't seen shit yet.
The following video is a two-parter. You're going to want to watch the entire thing to fully understand exactly where we are. To begin with, May 27th, just a few weeks away, may be more important to American history than July 4th. Take a listen.
I'm Reggie Littlejohn, co-founder of the Sovereignty Coalition and founder of the Anti-Globalist International Organization. The two treaties that are going to be voted on in May 27th of this year, just a few weeks from now, are the greatest threat to freedom that the world has ever faced. Public health is being used as a tool for total control. This is not a public health issue. It's an instrument to introduce Chinese-style totalitarianism to the United States and to the world. Now, the international health regulations, if WHO gets what it wants, they will be able to mandate vaccines, mandate masks, mandate lockdowns, and mandate quarantines in the United States and all over the world. Also, they will be able to mandate that the governments of the world surveil and censor their citizens, no doubt through mandatory digital IDs, which can be used as the basis of a China social credit system style rule of totalitarian control.
I'm pleased to stand with my colleagues and other friends and great patriots that are interested in the sovereignty of America. And don't be distracted at this moment. Don't you be distracted. Let's not America be distracted by what's happening in this building or what's about to happen in this building behind us. As bad as that is, and it's bad, but as bad as that is, we can do two things at once. We can pay attention to the other things that are happening around the globe and in this country. And as we speak, President Biden is planning to cede the sovereignty of the United States of America to the internationalists and the World Health Organization. The ability to decide between you and your doctor what medicine you take or do not take, whether you wear a mask or not, whether you leave your home and where you go is all potentially being ceded by this president of the United States based on a signature, subverting and disregarding the Constitution of the United States, bypassing the Senate, saying it's not a treaty, doing the exact same thing that President Obama did with the Iran nuclear deal. That was bad then, and it's a precursor. It's a warning of what might happen very, very soon. So we're gathered here today to make sure that you're all aware of what we're all aware of, that we're awake, and that we make sure that President Biden is not allowed to just sign on our behalf, and that the Senate rejects any attempt by the World Health Organization to take away our individual medical freedom, our individual choices, our choices to move about our country, our community, our homes as we please. That is literally what is at stake right now. And then be forced to pay for it without even knowing what the bill is. It is unacceptable. The fact that we even have to have this press conference is breathtaking. But every single day you wake up and you say to yourself, well, what more can it be? I can't believe what just happened. They can't do anything else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as bad as it is, and as bad as it is in dealing with this government taking away our rights every single day, just imagine how difficult it's going to be to drag our rights back away from some international organization of bureaucrats that aren't even elected, that don't care about America, don't care about our Constitution, and don't care about what we think.
Joe Biden is expected to sign this WEF agreement that signs over our sovereignty to this unelected international group. And what do they want to do?
Let's cue up that clip, Jay, from the mayor of London. He describes very point blankly now what a 15-minute city actually is. Take a listen.
Cities is something that the WEF has created called C40, and it's called C40 cities. I would urge you to certainly look on the internet about it and then go to all of the TikTokers and see what they're really saying. Basically, you won't be able to drive a petrol or diesel car anymore. You'll have to buy electric. If you want food, you will get a calorie-controlled system sent to you by text saying, this is what you can eat today. This is what you can have today. If you violate any of these things, they'll freeze your bank account. That is the next step. These are stages in which they're going to implement this stuff. And this was signed up by the WEF, and the WEF has signed up with our mayor in London as the chair. And he has gone around the world to communicate this C40 to all of the countries in the world. And most of the countries are looking at adopting it. Now, I am going to abolish it. It is a hopeless position. We are going to be in an open prison, or shall we say a COVID, for the rest of our lives. We will not be able to work unless it's in our 15-minute city. It's diabolical. It's not a right.
You get it now? May 27th is far more important than July 4th. July 4th guaranteed our freedoms. May 27th does just the opposite.
Yeah. Thought you guys would like to hear that one. Here's a funny. This is our funny, one of our funnies of this morning.
We want this. We love this. We need this. But this, yeah, we don't need this.
As a member of the African American community, we would like to humbly decline your offer. Since you don't want your own race, maybe the Hispanics will take you instead. So sorry, you have been declined.
Thank you for the referral on that, but the Hispanic community, we're going to have to pass on that. You could check the Asians, though.
As a representative of the Asian community, after careful consideration, unfortunately, we cannot take her. She will also be banned from ever taking out Chinese again. Though, we will offer her up to the Indians.
After a not-so-thorough examination and as a member of the Indian community, we would also like to humbly deny this offer. Maybe the Egyptians would be interested.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's no way. Gotta pass this one back to the white boys.
No.
He said, no. Oh, all right. Madhya Pradesh, India. Storm damages world's largest floating solar panel farm. If it's not hail destroying solar panels, then it's storms. But sure, keep thinking these things will help make the weather better. Yeah, take a look at the damage. Hey, they want to provide our power. Yeah. We think it's tough to keep a phone signal sometimes. Imagine trying to keep power with something like that going on. Yep. All right. What a complete and utter fraud. MAGA War Room says RFK is such a fan of free speech that he said he wishes there was a law in which you could punish people who say global warming doesn't exist.
Do I think they should be in jail? I think they should be enjoying 3 hots and a cot at The Hague with all the other war criminals who are there.
What about politicians, people who express skepticism?
They're selling out the public trust. And, I think those guys who are doing the Koch brothers bidding and who are against all the evidence of the rational mind are saying that global warming doesn't exist, that they are contemptible human beings, and that, I wish that there were a law you could punish them under.
And that is why you will never get a vote from me, you piece of crap. And like I said before, your father and your uncle are rolling over in their fucking graves for your freaking stupidity. Yeah. All right. Sir Oliver Pollock puts out big booms. They're all lawyered up. They don't have anything left. Nothing. The DOJ and others, et cetera, et cetera. Trump on Truth, 354 or 354 timestamp. Timestamps are important. Well, let's just let him explain. Here we go.
4 timestamp 235 length of video. He states that they're all lawyered up and they have nothing left. Nothing. You can't make this shit up. Check it out.
So I'm not allowed to comment on any of that. As you know, I'm under a gag order, which is very unprecedented. But I will say this, that the government, DOJ, et cetera,
et cetera.
in particular, lately, this office of DA, which is letting crime, violent crime, run rampant all over our city. What they've done to people in my company, they've been after us for years. You take a look at what's happened for years. The Democrats, the radical left, they've been after us for years, and they've destroyed people's lives. They've gone out, hired lawyers. They've been with lawyers for years. Been sucked dry. And it's a shame. It's a shame what they've done to this country. And it's a shame what they've done to a lot of great people that have been absolutely ruined and destroyed, not only here, all over. These are vicious,
Not only here,
radical
all over.
left lunatics. The DA here is Soros back. They shouldn't be wasting time on this. Look what they do to so many people. They're all lawyered up. That's all they do, lawyer up. In the meantime, you can't do anything in the country. The country's going to hell.
Lawyered up.
They have no time. They have no anything left.
They have no
Because they're
time,
always
no
under siege.
anything
It's
left.
a terrible, terrible thing happening in our country. And hopefully, November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, in my opinion, that's called Election Day. Hopefully it's going to change, because these people are destroying our country, whether at the border, whether the horrible reports that came out today are jobs numbers, with all you hear, whether inflation, which is destroying us, a lousy economy, Afghanistan, allowing Russia to attack Ukraine, would have never happened. Then you take October 7th in Israel, that would have never happened. All of these things happening, and all they do is they go after people. They destroy people, and it's a shame.
They destroyed
So
people.
I just want to wish everybody a very good weekend. I was very interested in what took place today, but I just have to say, we have a country to build. We have to rebuild it. Our country has gone to hell. We're a nation in decline, and we cannot let that happen to the USA. Thank you very much.
No, sorry, Tim. I give RFK absolutely no credit whatsoever. Let me tell you, that's not just that's not the only statement he's made. I've been playing stuff that he's been spouting for the last couple of weeks, and let me tell you, he's a fucking piece of work, all right. Illuminati bot says a Canadian woman campaigning for a wheelchair ramp to her private residence was instead offered a medically assisted death.
There is a startling new development in the ongoing controversy around veterans being offered medical assistance in dying. A retired corporal who is paraplegic shocked MPs in Ottawa yesterday when she told them an employee of Veterans Affairs Canada offered her help with arranging a medically assisted death.
Well, Hillary, we know that this is the latest incident that we are hearing about. It is coming from retired corporal and Paralympian Christian Gauthier. Yesterday, she testified that the Department of Veteran Affairs offered her in writing the opportunity for a medically assisted death. Even, she said, offering to provide the equipment. Now, Gauthier said she had been fighting for a home wheelchair ramp for 5 years. She described the letter she received from the department in French at the committee hearing.
There is a startling new development in the ongoing controversy around.
We should get a hold of a bunch of our Canadian friends and have them go and build her a ramp. That's what we should do. You know, we do it here in the States. Why couldn't we talk to our Canadian friends and put together a group of people to go and build her a ramp? You know, just seems like a right thing to do, right? Yeah. All right. So Joe Rambo says, not joking, I'm starting to think this small local CBS channel 17 is giving us specific messaging. Yes, 17. Listen to this clip. Well, here we go.
Online fundraiser has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for UNC fraternity members after they protected the American flag during that campus protest yesterday.
Yeah, it's raised nearly $300,000 in just a few short hours. CBS 17's Harrison Grubb talks with students who stepped in about how this whole thing played out.
These moments on UNC's campus are resonating with thousands across the country.
When we went in, we said, we will not let the headline of this day be an American flag falls at UNC.
Ongoing protests against the war in Gaza intensified on campus Tuesday. At one point, pro-Palestinian protesters replaced the American flag flying over the quad with a Palestinian one. After university administrators brought a new flag, they tried bringing that one down as well.
My friends and I kind of looked at each other and then said, we should go over there.
Jason Calderon joined several of his fellow students in propping up the flag to prevent it from touching the ground. All while he says he and others were pelted with objects from protesters.
So many Americans in history have fought for the ideals of justice and freedom that flag represents. And who are we if we don't take some water balloons and take some yelling and some chaos to, reap the benefits of what they've sown for American society?
Images of the students' actions flooded social media, leading to the creation of a GoFundMe to benefit fraternities whose members protected the flag. It raised more than $250,000 within 12 hours.
So many people are seeing that UNC is a beacon of light.
On campus, steps are being taken to make sure it doesn't happen again.
It was really just inspirational for us to see everybody coming together and the chancellor coming in and saying, as long as I'm chancellor, that flag will stay up.
I reached out to the fraternities named in the fundraiser, but have not heard back yet. In Chapel Hill, Harrison Grubb, CBS 17 News.
Yeah. There's quite a few posts about this. Channel 17. Yeah. Here's a good one here. Yeah. In 2017, retired Marine Staff Sergeant Jose Sanchez, who lost part of his leg in Afghanistan, ran the entire Boston Marathon carrying an American flag. Thank you for your service. And
from Boston, this is a retired Marine Staff Sergeant Jose Luis Sanchez, who lost the lower part of his left leg serving in Afghanistan, completes the Boston Marathon, carried the American flag the entire race, finishing in 5:46:13, raising money for soldiers wounded in combat. The flag he's got with him, sent to him by his patrol unit, had inspirational messages written to him as he recovered in the hospital. Truly and sincerely spectacular stuff there. From Boston.
Yep. There we go. Knowingly and willfully committed treason. Here we go.
These are all just things that have happened over the last several years. Why is your government lying to you? The lead prosecutor just pled the fifth in everything when he was asked about the Trump investigation that he was in charge of. He was asked, did you willfully violate the law while investigating Trump? He was asked, did you willfully violate the law while working at the Manhattan DA office? Did you violate the Constitution while investigating Trump? Did you violate the Constitution while working at the Manhattan DA's office? Did you knowingly use funds illegally while investigating Donald Trump and working at the Manhattan DA's office? He pled the fifth in every case. It's funny because they knowingly and willfully lied to you about Russia collusion. They knowingly and willfully illegally submitted a document that was known unverified as a verified document in order to get a warrant to spy on a candidate, then a sitting president, which is treasonous and a felony. They knowingly and willfully lied to you about quid pro quo. Adam Schiff knowingly and willfully read a fake transcript on the congressional floor to set a narrative of events that never happened. They knowingly and willfully lied to you about the laptop, about the diary, about Russia disinformation. They knowingly and willfully lied to you about the government working with social media to stifle your free speech as ruled by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. They knowingly and willfully lied to you about Donald Trump's words at Charlottesville and things he said about illegals or what he said about a bloodbath. See, they knowingly and willfully lied to you about January 6th, where they doctored timelines and tweets and where they added sound to videos that weren't there. They deleted 200 encrypted files, deleted all the testimony and all the evidence before you could have the chance to see it. Joe Biden knowingly and willfully had classified documents, and you guys claimed he returned them. But according to a 2016 recording, he knowingly and willfully had those, found them, then called his ghostwriter and said, I found the classified documents. and then didn't return them like you claimed he did. He instead gave them knowingly and illegally to his ghostwriter. Now, we already know what's going on in the classified documents case, as they've knowingly and willfully lied to you about that as well, and who was involved and who wasn't involved, and meetings that took place at the White House. So ask yourself, instead of why do I hate Donald Trump so much, ask yourself, why is my government continuing to lie to me so much? Because you think you're part of a protected class that you're not. And if they're willing to go this hard to take out a presidential candidate that's leading in every single poll, imagine what they could do to the rest of us.
Yep. Well spoken. Well spoken. All right, here's a giggle. Here's a giggle. Carla Boone says, what do you think?
We can do anything depending on the client inspiration. We've done Pokemon, we've done giraffe, zebra, tiger, leopard. We have Cheshire cat, skunk, anything that the person imagine, we can work into it, and the dog sometimes comes out look really wild and hopefully very, very cute. I started grooming when I was 12 years old. After it got so much attention on social media for the dog guys, I thought, how can I use this for something that is really cute, but to actually help the dogs? So I partnered with San Diego Humane Society, and I go there. We usually pick 4 to 5 dogs. We make them look beautiful. We make videos, we post on social media. We help to raise funds for them. I also make sure to pay their adoption fees, so there's no barriers between getting them. And successfully, we adopted over 25 dogs.
Kind of cool. No, he's using a safe type of dye. It's can all wash out. It'll all wash out over a short period of time. But it's not harmful to the dogs. Look at some of those gay dogs. Benny Johnson says fatality.
He'll never leave. And there are people on the right pushing. The American Conservative magazine has...
He hasn't conceded the 2020 election yet. What do you mean how? You make it sound like it's a crazy idea.
No,
he has not conceded the one he did lose.
I'll concede it because it's very obvious who the president is. It's very obvious Joe Biden is the president, presiding over 20% increases in gas and groceries, presiding over 22% increases in healthcare, 36% in car insurance. I mean, people can't afford the natural accoutrements of an adult life, which is why young people have abandoned Biden. So it's very clear Donald Trump is not the president. Our economy sucks. The border is open. 8.8 million people came here. That's larger than the population of 39 states. It's insane. We know who the president is.
We will get to all these issues. But right now,
he'll never leave. And there are people on the right.
All right. Okay. So more wannabe gods with the little g.
What if I can take over the world? Are there other people like me that are driven by wanting to take over the world? What if we could make the world one place and we make all the decisions for everybody? Because I'm probably one of the smartest people in the world. And you know, that conversation's taking place. Again, you really start having that godlike figure. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with George Soros. You know, in one of the interviews he gave to LA Times, he says, I always fancied myself with being a god. Fancied myself with being a god. This is an LA Times interview 20 plus years ago. If you type in George Soros, LA Times God, it's the most disturbing interview to read about this guy.
A lot of people are very skeptical about him, right? He's like the boogeyman of a number of conspiracies.
How many people have you heard say, I always fancied myself with being a god? He says, but what's great about where I'm at right now is it's no longer a dream. It became a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So, $20 an hour minimum wage, and this is how McDonald's responds. No registers open, no menus turned on, self-serve only. Thoughts on this? And here's the walkthrough.
April 1st, did $120 our minimum wage. No registers open. No menus turned on. Self-serve only.
Nobody waiting at the register. Let's see here. Still waiting.
April 1st, did $120.
Yeah. All right. This I thought was really good. Let me read this first. This Oklahoma Little Leaguer got hit in the head and then walked out to the pitcher's mound to let the pitcher know that he's going to be okay.
Oh, look out. Wow, that is a tough kid right there.
Hey, Judge, it hit his helmet.
So this is really cool because as a pitcher, Bubs looks shaken up right now because of what he did. And look at Zay Jarvis. This is such great sportsmanship. He wants him to know that it's okay, that he'll be fine.
Hey, Bob. Look at me. Look at me. You're all right.
Amazing.
You're all right. Look at me. Hey, look. You can do it.
Oh, look out.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that I had it muted. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Does anybody see that when I was looking at the 17? All right. Here's Donald Trump coming out of court yesterday.
So I'm not allowed to comment on any of that. As you know, I'm under a gag order, which is very unprecedented. But I will say this, that the government, DOJ, et cetera, and in particular, lately, this office of DA, which is letting crime, violent crime, run rampant all over our city. What they've done to people in my company, they've been after us for years. You take a look at what's happened for years. The Democrats, the radical left, they've been after us for years, and they've destroyed people's lives. They've gone out, hired lawyers. They've been with lawyers for years, been sucked dry. And it's a shame. It's a shame what they've done to this country. And it's a shame what they've done to a lot of great people that have been absolutely ruined and destroyed, not only here, all over. These are vicious, radical left lunatics. The DA here is Soros back. They shouldn't be wasting time on this. Look what they do to so many people. They're all lawyered up. That's all they do, lawyer up. In the meantime, you can't do anything in the country. The country's going to hell. They have no time. They have no anything left because they're always under siege. It's a terrible thing happening in our country. And hopefully,
You almost said shit.
November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, in my opinion, that's called Election Day. Hopefully it's going to change because these people are destroying our country, whether at the border, whether the horrible reports that came out today of jobs numbers with all you hear, whether inflation, which is destroying us, a lousy economy, Afghanistan, allowing Russia to attack Ukraine would have never happened. Then you take October 7th in Israel, that would have never happened. All of these things happening, and all they do is they go after people. They destroy people, and it's a shame. So I just want to wish everybody a very good weekend. I was very interested in what took place today, but I just have to say, we have a country to build. We have to rebuild it. Our country has gone to hell. We're a nation in decline, and we cannot let that happen to the USA. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on. A second Stormy Daniels letter denying her affair has been found. Judge Merchan forced rightful President Donald Trump to delete the first letter and fine him $9,000. Stormy and Judge Merchan definitely wish this letter didn't exist. Sure would be a shame if everybody reposted it, and this is what it said: to whom it may concern. I recently became aware that certain news outlets are alleging that I had a sexual or romantic affair with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. I am stating with complete clarity that this is absolutely false. My involvement with Donald Trump was limited to a few public appearances and nothing more. When I met Donald Trump, he was gracious, professional, and a complete gentleman to me and everyone in my presence. Rumors that I have received hush money from Donald Trump are completely false. If indeed I did have a relationship with Donald Trump, trust me, you wouldn't be reading about it in the news. You would be reading about it in my book. But the fact of the matter is, these stories are not true. Signed, Stormy Daniels. Yep. All right. Here we go. Billboard Chris, if you're going to approach me for the sole purpose of harassment, to call me psycho, and to say that children should have their body parts cut off if they want to, don't come back and cry to me because you're about to be exposed online. You made your bed. I'm going to make sure it's at the beginning. There we go.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah, what's
Is
up?
this like a Bucks night dare?
No. No, this is the furthest thing from a dare. I've been doing this since September 2020. Traveling around the world. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and I have conversations out on the street and at university campuses about what I consider to be the greatest child abuse scandal in the history of modern medicine.
I think it's interesting that a child would tell other children what they can and cannot do.
So you're calling me a child?
Yeah.
Because I think we shouldn't sterilize and maim children?
Yeah. I think... Okay, I'm not well versed. I wanted to start something because I'm pretty lit.
Oh, okay.
Pretty insane, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't blame you
got,
for
like,
thinking
the
that.
psycho eyes.
Oh, okay. So
I probably have
you think
psycho
I have
eyes
the
now.
psycho eyes, but you're the one who thinks it's okay to cut the body parts off of children.
If that's what they want to do, yeah.
He's calling me the psycho, and he wants to cut body parts off of children if that's what they want.
Do you think there should be an age limit with that?
No, I think it's pretty obvious, and when it's like when the kid's clearly wanting to transition, they actually have they speak clearer.
Oh, do they?
Anyone can question. You know,
What is a transgender child, I wonder?
do you just go around asking people a question, like confronting, like
I have conversations.
instigating?
Well, you
Oh,
came
is
up
this
to
what
me.
you call a conversation?
You came up to me, right?
You're wearing a sign, dude.
That's right. Well, you
It's a
wouldn't know
very
why I was out here if I
provocative
wasn't
sign.
wearing a sign. Yeah, what's provocative about it? It says children cannot consent to puberty blockers. What's the problem with this?
I don't know. Why do you go around instigating arguments with people that are obviously politically
It's
opposed to
starting
you?
conversations.
Should we
Oh,
go
this is a
back and
conversation.
should
You
we
came
go
up
back
to
and
me.
review the tape?
I
You
came
came
up to you because you're wearing a sign.
you
and
came to
have
me, you were
microphones and a
insulting
camera.
right away, then you said I have psycho eyes, and you say I'm instigating an
I
argument?
think this is insulting in this area where it's very trans-friendly.
Right. Yeah, we need to have these conversations in places where they're
Conversations.
pushing this child abuse. Yeah.
This is a conversation. To
Well, I'm
film
here to have
people.
conversations. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, then put the camera away.
No, I
Let's talk.
post this content online and I help educate people that way.
Yeah, you educate people.
That's right. Check out X, Billboard Chris, or Instagram. Check out your footage later.
Okay, I will.
You look really good.
Thanks.
All right.
Do you film yourself as well? Or?
You have yourself a good night.
Oh, so you want to end the conversation?
Yeah, I'm all done with you.
Oh, you're done with it?
Yeah, this isn't productive. This is a waste of time.
So you have yourself a good night. Bye-bye.
He's walking away from me. Did you? So you admittedly are going to post that video?
Yeah.
Without my consent.
I don't need your consent.
Maybe you don't need my consent.
You're on a public street. There's no expectation of privacy here, and I don't need your consent.
I don't know if you are aware of the laws here.
Okay, well, you go get the laws and you show them to me.
Give me your details.
I do this all around the world. I've been doing this 4 years.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure you
Go
have
to
many
@BillboardChris,
coworkers.
check it out, and you can defend yourself there. You can
Yeah.
tell all the people why you think it's okay to sterilize kids and cut off their body parts
Do you
if
have-
they want it to
Have you
happen.
ever talked to a kid that's in trans?
Yeah, lots. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You should look up what I do.
what is your ideological background?
Well, there is no ideological background to me. The ideology, called gender ideology, is this belief system that somehow some children are born in the wrong bodies.
Anti-ideology.
I would say I am pro-child, and we shouldn't be teaching them that there might be
Yeah, I
something
think
wrong
I'm
with them just
pro-child
because
too.
they're a little bit different.
And I want to support what children want, and I want to
Yeah?
support what parents want for their child.
What if a
which is
child
the
wants to
best.
eat ice cream until 2 a.m.? Do you support that too?
You really think you're going to compare?
No, it's actually much worse. This is much worse than that. But do you think kids can eat ice cream
Right, but will
until
you
2
answer
a.m.?
my question? What is your ideological background?
There is no ideological background to
You
this.
have no ideology.
People from all
You're
over
wearing
the
a
political
billboard.
spectrum agree with this.
Sorry, say that again?
People from all over the political spectrum, people from all faiths and backgrounds agree with this message. You're in the vast minority, my
Everyone
friend.
agrees with you, and I'm in the
More than
minority,
90%.
and that makes your argument valid.
Yeah, we shouldn't cut the body parts off of kids.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
Yeah, we shouldn't stop puberty in perfectly healthy children. You have to be a little bit insane to think that we should do that.
I think.
I'd say you've been indoctrinated by a cult that's permeated the Western world.
Okay, well, because
And you sit here
I
and you
think
think you're
you're
being
so-
so compassionate
Oh
because
my
I'm
God.
going to allow children to do what they want. You think you're smart and compassionate? They're kids.
I never said I was smart.
They're stopping puberty in
Those are
10-year-olds.
assertions by you, which kind of makes me think that maybe
You think we should stop puberty in 10-year-olds?
no. I think perhaps it's
Back there, you just said we should cut the body parts of kids if they want to.
yeah. You ask a lot of questions.
Do you
but
still
won't
think that?
answer
Or are
mine.
you backtracking on that? I've already answered your question. This
you
isn't
haven't.
coming from an ideological position.
I'm not
I
satisfied
have
with
no
your
religion.
answer.
This is not an
You're not-
ideological
You
position.
were unsatisfied with my answer to the point of walking off.
Well,
and
you're a
now-
waste of time to talk to. That's why.
Right.
Because you're drunk
So
as well.
you don't even have. Right. So you are so indoctrinated that your
By what?
ideology is not an ideology.
What's my ideology?
That there's only two genders. They're assigned to birth.
There's only two sexes.
Yeah, scientifically, yeah. Biologically, yes.
Yeah. Gender doesn't exist.
Right. So what are you?
I'm a man.
But that's a gender.
That's my sex.
Yeah, it is your sex.
Yeah, there are two
Do you
sexes. There are
understand-
0
maybe you should-
genders, and there are infinite
You
personalities.
realize there is a difference between sex and gender.
Yeah, gender doesn't exist. I realize you've been indoctrinated to
But you
believe
just
that
said
there
you're
is.
a man.
That's right.
Well, why say you're a man and not just say I'm a human with a penis?
This guy. So what's gender? I notice your face is ticking. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, because I'm not a psychopath.
You're like
dude.
shaking as well.
Yeah, because I'm
You okay?
pissed off.
So what's gender? Tell me. You can educate me, and you can educate
Yeah,
the
you
hundreds of
asked
thousands
a
of
lot of
people.
questions.
You can
I've
educate
asked
the
you
hundreds of
too,
thousands of
and you
people who are
won't
going to watch
answer
this.
them.
I've already told you gender doesn't exist.
All right, well, I'm going to give you the same dismissive, I'm done with you.
Oh no,
I know you don't care.
I don't care at all.
So why are you trying to convert people to your non-ideology?
I'm here to have conversations. You keep walking up to me. You're free to walk away.
I've walked up to you twice, and
Yeah.
you walked off.
That's right, because I'm not interested in talking to you anymore.
Really?
You're not
You seem
capable
so-
of.
You seem so interested.
You're not
that you're
capable
willing-
of having
that
a
you-
rational conversation.
All you do, asking combative questions incessantly and refusing to answer questions, that's not a conversation.
Okay, good stuff. I've heard you. Thanks. Have a good one.
Wow. Good luck.
Yeah. Sorry you want to sterilize kids. You too, bud. Love you.
He had nothing to like decent to contribute or Just wanted to have an argument, I think.
Yeah. Did you see him shaking?
Yeah.
That happens all the time. His face was ticking, tick, 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 tick.
They'll do that when they have no argument, no leg to stand on. They know that
Yeah.
they're losing the debate.
So this guy came back because he knows instinctively he said some stupid things back there.
Yeah.
And he's embarrassed and he doesn't want me putting it online. Why doesn't he want me putting it online? He's so proud of his position. What's he afraid of? And he's trying to tell me that I'm not allowed to because I didn't get his consent.
Exactly. And then he knew you were filming and then came back as well
Right.
to talk to you again.
Right.
And then said, I don't want to be on camera, but you're filming the whole time. So it doesn't make any sense.
Because he knows instinctively that he's wrong, but he'll never admit it because he's full of pride. Yeah.
I love it when they trip him up like that. Yep. And now he's famous. This I thought was really cool. Good man, Barron Trump. Yep.
Today we're with Barron Trump. Barron's a very interesting guy, the son of Donald Trump, 6768. We're doing a podcast with Ryan Garcia. He stays there and he walks. He says, let me walk you to your car. The son of a billionaire who's a president says, let me walk you to your car. He's working customer service. He walks us to our car and he's standing there until we get in the car to leave. He says, look, no matter what I do, no matter what my brothers do, no matter how much money we make, our success will never come close to what our father had to do, because he really had the hard life, not us. We have an easy life. He just turned 18. Are you kidding me? Like, what a freaking stud of a kid to say something like that, right? Today we're with Barron Trump.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Giving credit where the credit's due. Okay, so Outside the Matrix, aka Crash, says Juan Wayne Willett 07 is hurting people in this movement more than people know. Read through the comments in this thread. Okay, so let's go here. Megan Wall says 107 has 1 degree of separation behind my first case. We thought he was going to help us so much, and we were led to believe he was sending those who would. It was quite the opposite and horrific. If anything, he sabotaged and handled my case the entire way through, in the opinion of my team and I. All right. It's and basically we could go through all the comments. My discernment on that guy was immediately not good. He rubbed me the wrong way from the very beginning. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I could sit here and run through all of the comments on here. And this is the thing. Now, I read the book, Kid by the Side of the Road. Okay. And and I read it because of the fact that, number one, I wanted to see what it said. Okay. And there was, I would say, a good 90% of good, solid information. And I still have the video up for that. Okay. But since reading that book, okay, although, they're like I said, a good 90% of that is so factual and so out there. Okay. But then proceeded to play some of his interviews, which, a lot of you, basically he's long-winded, wasn't really answering any questions, and was never quite getting to the point. It takes 2 hours to get through one question. You get the diatribe of this long story and everything else, and we're not getting any answers. And a lot of guys have made their careers off of this guy. Okay. He's 100% in the Flynn camp, and I have some major doubts about him, in regards to this. No different than Alex Jones. A lot of the information that we're getting from these guys is based upon what Bill Cooper was letting us know, unfortunately, I've been turned off to him. I've been turned off to him because I see this. Sit back and wait and watch. Sit back, wait and watch. No, we need to be involved in a lot of things, and you know, it just you know, we hear the excuses about you know, why this person did this, why this person did this. Oh, it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be that way. But at the same time, Americans are hurting big times because of it. And then at the same time, it's you know, I think what kept me listening to him was the biblical side of this. But the fact of the matter is that so many things have been wrong, time wise, everything all the way down the line, and I can't listen to it. All right. Kevin O'Leary has some bad news for student protesters. Employers are using AI to identify all of you. Yeah. Wait till they try to get jobs after this.
You know, what makes this different from all the other previous protests we keep hearing about is that you can see everything clearly.
Yeah.
How is this going to shape up for the futures of these bigots?
So student protests have been with us hundreds of years, and there's always the passion when you're young. What's different about this time is for the first time ever, because you think about the protests in the 60s and 70s, they were shot on 16 millimeter film, very, very grainy, hard to get resolution, particularly at night. Not the case now. Everything being shot now is 1080p or 4K, even the surveillance cameras. Every single image, even at night now, goes into an AI generator and will tell you who that individual is. So I hire people. I have a lot of companies. I hire thousands of people. Within weeks, I'm going to be able, when we're doing your background check, I'm going to find this because it's going to be in there on the dark web. Those are the services we buy. It's only $5,000 to do a deep, dark check. Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job because we see you now. And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image. And for the rest of your life, you're in this pile. So there's plenty of consequences for all those people. Even an image that far away, AI can generate who they are by the way the body moves. I can't believe the stuff I find in background checks now. These people are screwed.
Yeah.
What did Jesse say?
Yeah. Interesting, huh? Yeah. Yep. Name the Marxist. Can someone identify this leftist leading Jew-hating leftist at LSU? This is the person leading the protest at LSU. She looks to be over 40 with gray hair. So obviously, she's a paid protester. Let's get a look at her. And then another look at her. Now let's get a look at... Yeah. I don't know who she is personally, but, you know. All right. President Xi visited California for a reason, and now you know. This is the Chinese model of surveillance that Newsom is implementing. It looks like California is the first test state, so be expecting them in your state too. Let's listen to what Gavin's up to. Those of you in California might want to pay attention.
So today we're announcing 480 new cameras. These are referred to as flock cameras, which will aid and support the efforts of law enforcement. So today we're announcing 480 new cameras. These are referred to as flock cameras, which will aid and support the efforts of law enforcement.
Yep. They'll know everything. No different than what... Okay, so... Holy crap, I really think I'm onto something. This 4POG messing with us. This channel is full of comms. CBS 17, Durham Police Force, Dog Comms, aired yesterday. Ghost in the Machine.
Welcoming a new dog to their force.
This is Siren. Siren is adorable. This is she's the police department's first therapy dog. Siren will be a part of their peer support program to help first responders who deal with traumatic events. Therapy dogs are known to help lower stress, anxiety, and help alleviate mood, or elevate mood rather. She will also serve victim services to comfort people when needed. And with that face, I don't know,
God,
like
Siren's too cute.
how adorable is Siren?
Welcoming a new dog.
Yeah, Dog Comms. Dog Comms. All right. If you don't want this walking around the streets where you grew up, and then clearly you are a racist far-right Nazi and need to educate yourself on the joys of open borders and benefits of diversity.
Amaya, who about me? Who about me? Amaya, Amaya, who? Why? Bobby? Ah, ah, Allah, Allah, Akbar. All right then. Pussy ass nigga. Amaya.
Yeah. Coming to a neighborhood near you. All right. Man grew up in Israel, says what he thinks about the pro-Palestine protests. That's what white kids in America do.
College students know exactly why they are protesting?
The majority of them know nothing. I grew up in Israel. I moved here 27 years ago. I've been to explosions. I've been to the shit. I don't believe in any God. I don't believe in any government. I believe in people. None of those people got their info. Okay? This is something that's been going on for years. None of them has anything to do with it, and none of them is going to lose anything where my parents sit under missiles. Not bullets, missiles. So what I think about it, I think that's what white kids in America do. We have a country that's so good here, buddy, that we have time to bitch and moan and other shit, and you don't need to sit in the shelter and hope it's not landing on you. That's the reality of it.
And do you think any of these students would be willing to go to where the problem is actually happening there?
No.
In
100% no. Basically taking over the school, that's like me taking over an apartment. This is a little more, same thing. We had the riots here, and everybody started breaking into stores. That's not a protest anymore. They've been screaming for days. Nobody's listening. I haven't seen anything done on any level, not even in our government. So
yeah, do you think there will be any results to these protests? Or?
Absolutely not. No one in Israel sees this. They see this 2 minutes a day. No one got even electricity to see this. If you want to know your
yeah.
That's all. Like every piece of history, nothing is black and white.
Yeah. What's it all for? Optics. Optics. All right. Watch London Mayor Sadiq Khan simply walk off unable to respond to a Londoner's simple question.
Hello. I'd just like to say, I'm a member of Britain Purse, yeah? Why are we giving all our money away to foreign aid and stuff like that? Why are we not helping veterans, the homeless veterans that are sleeping on the streets, sir? I'm asking you a question. Why are you walking away? That's downright rude. Sadiq, what's wrong with you, man? Listen, I'm not going to chase after you because that's not me. But why are you letting our country go to such a shithole that it is at the moment? Look after our own people. This is England. This ain't Bangladesh. This ain't Pakistan. This is England that we're living in. That's where we are, okay? That time you've done your job, you'll be out anyway, you dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I need to go to this here and I need to scroll up. So Scott McKay says, folks, we are a little more than 1 week out from the Ohio event. By tomorrow, we will be shutting off all VIP ticket sales per caterer requirement. If you would like to get a VIP ticket, be sure to do it tonight or early tomorrow because that will be the last opportunity and unfortunately no exceptions. And then it says go to streetfighter.com and click on the flyer and that'll take you to the page to buy your tickets. We still have some general mission tickets get your tickets fast. Actually, I'm curious to know how much these tickets are. Let's see. Oh, yeah, $50 a head. Yeah. And VIP, $295. Well, Outside the Matrix said, be careful who you're following. Q post 1295. Some are profiting off this movement. Patriots are selfless. Those who would seek personal gain at the expense of others in this movement have an agenda. This is not a game. Yep. She called them out on that one, and she's 100% correct in doing so. All right. Laura Logan says, yes, they are, and they are blatantly inciting everyone who believes in America, so that seems to indicate a bigger plan and a greater threat. Her response to CTGOP, Connecticut Republican Party. This is what protesters have done to the statue of our first president on George Washington's University's campus. These protests aren't just anti-Semitic. Yep, this is what they did. Yep. But Laura, I'd like to let you know he was not our first president. We had 6 presidents before he came into office. Okay. I'm not going to go into this one here because I'm actually thinking about whether I'm going to play the. Actually, I'm coming up on the 4-hour mark. I'm not going to be able to play that video today. I might cover it tomorrow. I've got to be careful how much fuel I'm using right now. Turning Point UK, Metro Police once again arrest Gorbani Nayak for holding a Hamas is a terrorist sign rather than arrest the Palestinian supporters who threaten him. The Hamas supporters cheer as the Met continue to do their work for them. Yeah.
You're a disgrace. This is an honor for life. We don't come around in big six. Bubble now. Turn around. Face outwards. Big six and carry out. Big six and face out.
All right, slavery is still here, Jeff Ponce says. 27 million black people are still owned as slaves today in Muslim countries. No liberal ever complains about that. That's the truth. Yep. I mean, therefore, I am amazing. While New York liberals are fighting for Palestine, true patriots come out today in Long Island to spread the American spirit. Yep. Out there doing their flag wave. Yep. And that's the end of that one. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining me. I hope everybody got something out of the content that I played for you today. I'll be back with you again tomorrow. Not sure what time. I just know that I'll be back sometime tomorrow. God loves you. Jesus loves you. I love you. Peace.